Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Hello, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us on this Friday morning. It's Friday, May 1st.
I feel strong about this.
We got to May. And that means...
Was there any doubt?
Well, you never know. Sometimes you feel like, will
this weather change?
Will April ever end? Well, this is time to revive an old meme that goes around the internet whenever May rolls around. Have you ever heard about this?
I don't know. There's a lot of memes out there.
Well,
which meme is it?
Because, even though April might go for a long time, eventually it's going to be May.
It's gonna be May.
Sorry, that's... If you know, you know. It's an NSYNC song with Justin Timberlake.
I'm so on the outside.
It's he says it's going to be me, but he says it kind of like May, and for some reason the internet finds this funny. And for years this has been a meme. Here, I'll play it again.
It's gonna be May.
It's going to be May. We're there. We got there.
You've had to unpack it so hard.
It's better when you have to explain it, right?
Is it?
Yeah, isn't it?
I don't know. Jury's out on that one. But yes, thank you for sharing that. I think it's one of those things you had to be there at the time. And
yeah.
I really wasn't. I think I missed that boat.
Well,
I'm
either
okay
way.
with it, though. I still feel strong.
Either way, it's going to be May.
It's going to be May. It is May. It's gorgeous out right now. Oh, the sunrise is beautiful.
Yeah, the sun, the official sunrise today, I will note this again because I love it when it gets to this sunny time of the year. 5:54 a.m., so like a good 21 minutes ago, is when the sun got up in Greater Victoria. So, hey, we're into the sun. We're into May. It's going to be a warm one. We'll tell you all about it. We're also going to give away our final Steamship Bar and Grill Mother's Day gift certificate on the show today by having you identify a famous mom and text us the correct mom. So coming up in a few minutes, we'll play the first clip. We'll reveal today's mom, at least the audio of that mom, for you to guess.
And no one's living under a rock for this one. It's pretty low-hanging fruit.
Hopefully this one's easy, but...
We went easy on you on a Friday.
You never know.
Even more so.
So stay tuned. The big reveal coming up after the headlines. Right now, here are the headlines with Lisa.
Soccer in focus. Officials in Vancouver say they have test runs to see what it will take to host the FIFA World Cup, which is next month. Police officers who were seen scattered across the Vancouver Convention Centre as about 1,600 delegates gathered ahead of the tournament. Vancouver police say about 800 officers were brought in from outside the city, some going from Vancouver Island to help manage safety, a number not seen since the 2010 Winter Olympics. Iran's 90 million people have been cut off from the global internet for most of this year, one of the longest and strictest national shutdowns. This is devastating for the online economy that's defied years of government restrictions and international sanctions. From fashion to fitness to advertising and retail, many have seen their incomes go poof. And despite this uneasy truce with the U.S. and Israel, which could give up the ghost any moment, Iran's leaders are refusing to reverse the shutdown, insisting it's a wartime necessity. And in the waters, one of the rarest whale species is having more calves this year than in some recent seasons. Still, experts say more young is needed to stave off the possibility of extinction. This is the North Atlantic right whales that frequent the Maritimes. The total population estimated at 384 animals. It's been slowly rising after years of decline. The whales give birth off the southeastern U.S. every winter before migrating north to Canada waters to feed. That is your headline news to 6:17.
Thank you, Lisa. We'll take a look at traffic and weather in a moment. If you see any problems out there, do text me at 71010. Then we're going to reveal today's famous mom. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It is 6:19. And by the way, the whole morning show is brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home, nomad of the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort. The South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. On the roads, no crashes or accidents right now. Nothing much to speak of, actually, as we get into the day, but a few construction-related problems coming at you later. Let's talk about Cook Street, because there's actually a couple of spots. I've been talking a lot about the paving happening between Bay and Hillside, which will start up at 7 again. But a little further down Cook Street, once you get into downtown, in the stretch between Johnson and Yates, also between 7 and 5, there are going to be obstructions. It's, in fact, a whole southbound closure of Cook Street between Johnson and Yates for work there. So a couple of spots to watch out for as the day goes on, but not yet. That's at 7 for both of those instances. And for the BC Ferries, that's where I'm going next. 7 o'clock is full, so it's a one-sail wait. The 8 is next. And in the weather forecast, it is 9 degrees outside already. Even warmer in some parts of Greater Victoria. Colwood is 10. The 9 is the official temperature at the airport. And it's going to just creep up and up and up. We're going to hit 21 degrees eventually today with some cloudy skies. A few sunny breaks, but a bit overcast today. It's going to get sunnier as the weekend goes on. Temperatures could get up into the mid-20s this weekend and even into early next week, with overnight lows down into that 10-ish degree range, sort of around 10, give or take, which is where we're at now.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, all this week we have been giving away Mother's Day brunch gift certificates to the Steamship Bar and Grill, which, of course, is right in Victoria's Inner Harbor in the old CP Steamship building.
Gorgeous view of the harbor.
Wonderful spot. Yeah, love the spot. Great place to take Mom. You got the view. You got the mimosa, which is complimentary for Mom. I've really enjoyed this
really
aspect.
Pushing the mimosa.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Don't stop at one.
You don't have to even have it. You could do whatever. You could do you.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm just saying.
Mom will do her.
Because it's Mother's Day.
Yes.
It's the whole point.
Yes. I want mimosa. I don't want mimosa. I want hot tea, whatever it's going to be.
What you got to do to win the gift certificate is identify today's famous TV mom. This will be our last one this week. And I'll play you the clip.
Okay.
Text me the name of the character. Mm-hmm. And by around 8 o'clock, we will reach into the proverbial hat of all the correct entries.
I thought it was a bucket.
The bucket, proverbial bucket?
It's a hat now?
Maybe
Friday's
a big drum.
hat.
What about a big,
yes,
I don't know, big pot? It could be anything.
Yeah.
I'm going to reach into it, whatever it is, and I'm going to pull out one of those correct texts, and we're going to call you. Yep. So get ready to receive a call just after 8 o'clock. So that's how this is going to work. Mm-hmm. But first, you've got to guess this famous TV mom.
I'll just have a cup of coffee.
Bear it is.
No, I said coffee.
Beer.
Coffee.
B-ear.
C-O.
B.
Oh, I see you've played Knifey Spoony before.
You've seen the episode a few times.
Yeah.
When you can sput it off, you're doing well.
You picked... Lisa, you compiled all of these, by the way, so I haven't heard them until I play them. That cracked
They're all
me up.
Fresh
That was very good.
I was trying to make it funny. I think we need a laugh, especially near the end of the week.
Text us at 71010 if you can identify that famous TV mom, and one of the lucky texters will get a call just after 8 o'clock and get our final $100 gift certificate to the Steamship Bar and Grill.
Get the ball rolling early. When's the draw again?
Just after 8 o'clock.
All right.
Yeah, after we do all the... the
other
news,
stuff?
the traffic, the weather, the sports, the business, stock numbers, all of that stuff.
Okay.
All right. So we've been talking about how we're into the month of May. The weather is beautiful. Actually, it's considering it's the beginning of May, the fact that temperatures are getting into the mid-20s this weekend is, a little on the warm side. I think the average temperatures, if I look here, normals for this day, for May the 1st, are 15 degrees as a high. So we're, by tomorrow going to be blowing that by like 10 degrees, which is nice to be in, but also does make you think about fires. Because
I like how you say that.
That's
the pregnant pause.
This is now the double-edged sword we have with the nice, warm, dry weather on Vancouver Island is you start to wonder what's happening with wildfire season.
Well,
and
we know, though, right? Because we had 4 spark last weekend.
Yeah.
Between Saturday and Monday. They were small, but they're here on Vancouver Island. And I thought that was early for us.
Yeah.
And they were all human caused because we weren't having any lightning happening at that point. So there's so many different ways a fire can start, and if the fuel source is dry, well, it's going to spread quickly. Yeah. Do you know what today is?
What is today?
It's 10th anniversary of the Fort McMurray wildfire.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. So when we watched that unfold, because it started 48 hours before it actually moved into town, and the prevailing winds were the big problem. The winds pushed it into town. But I had a friend of mine, a former colleague who was living there with his wife and daughter at the time, and he said, we didn't know what to do because it was unprecedented. He says, you had to keep yourself safe, but you wanted to help your neighbor. He said it was terrible, and he was working in radio at the time, so they were also trying to do the job. And it was, as we know, it was completely devastating. And Fort McMurray rebuilt. I mean, that fire alone forced 90,000 people out of their home. It damaged 25,000 buildings, almost 600,000 hectares of boreal forest destroyed. Fort McMurray rebuilt because of the kind of town and the kind of industry it is. But then you look at Lytton.
Still not rebuilt.
Well, and it may not, because there's 78 people living in Lytton right now.
Yeah.
It's a fraction of what it was before. But Lytton will mark 5 years at the end of June for that. And they're still trying to get ahead of it. Federal money coming in, but it's earmarked for, if you do this, we'll give you this money. If you can pay it. And there's not enough people living there. So it's kind of a cautionary tale for us to look at it. Government can go so far with helping and filling in the gap if something happens, but we do have to plan ahead as best we can. And it seems kind of like, what do I do? It seems overwhelming, actually, sometimes. So what do I do? Do I pack an emergency kit? Do I move shrubbery away from my house? And you think, what's that going to do? But there is things you can do. And they do have the emergency preparedness event coming up next week at the BC Legislature with all the information available to you. Because next week, starting, I think, is it this weekend or starting Monday for sure, it is Emergency Preparedness Week. So preparing for the worst case scenario. So that goes 10 to 2, May 6th at the BC Legislature. That's the Preparedness Expo. All the first responders are going to be there.
Okay.
So if you want to have dialogue with just people to ask them, what do I do? What can I do as just a regular person, a homeowner, a renter? What can I do to manage things? It's worth the discussion, right? So that we can at least mentally prepare for something that would be a worst case scenario.
Okay, so that's tomorrow, you said?
No, it's on May 6th. So it's
May
next
6th,
Wednesday.
next Wednesday.
It's preparing for it. Prepare
Gotcha.
to go. The Emergency Preparedness Expo is at the BC Legislature from 10 to 2 on May 6th. So that's next Wednesday.
Okay,
So it's coming
gotcha.
up fast. But Emergency Preparedness Week begins this weekend.
Okay.
And with that, it's us just mentally preparing. It's sort of that muscle memory that we create. Like, what would I do? What would you do? Is your insurance papers, are they in order? Do you have them in a fire safe container? Do you have them in your safe deposit box? Like, all these things to think about that what do they say insurance is? Paying money for nothing to happen?
Yeah.
Right? So it is something to think about. And it's not about doom and gloom. It's just you prepare for it and then you forget about it unless you need it. And, Fort McMurray at its 10-year anniversary today makes us think that. It's like, what if?
It's the 10-year anniversary. Yeah, wow. I remember it vividly. It's crazy to think that much time has passed.
I
But,
know,
yeah.
and it does go fast. But for the people in the region, they don't forget easy.
Well, it's something to think about on this day, first day of May. Texter at 71010 says, good morning. Longer days. I could almost go fishing before work. May has always had awesome weather in Victoria. It's the month to get your outdoor chores done, like build a sun deck.
Oh, that's a big one.
That's a
Okay.
big project. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
But you could use it this weekend. We'll tell you
Measure
all about.
twice.
Well, you tell you all about the weather that's coming at us. We'll tell you all about the 6:30 news and everything else you need to know to get this day started. Coming up next.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Design Victoria is April 30th to May 7th. Full schedule and ticket prices at designvictoria.ca. Sign up and support the Walk for Alzheimer's Sunday, May 31st at Fisherman's Wharf. More info at walkforalzheimers.ca. Have an event you want featured on CFAX 1070? Text us at 71010 to be featured. Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 6:31 on Friday, May the 1st. We are looking at a mostly cloudy day, but there could be some sunny breaks and a high of 21 degrees eventually. We'll get you the full forecast in just a moment, but right now the news begins. And we say good morning to Lisa Best.
Good morning. Money in Focus to the governor of the Bank of Canada. He says he's encouraged by the federal government's efforts to insulate the economy against future shocks. Tip Macklem, in interview, says that he long wanted to see Canada diversify exports away from the U.S. and slash wait times for regulatory approvals. He says those changes won't happen overnight, but they can help make our economy more resilient over time.
It's going to take a determined plan and a determined execution and willingness to keep the momentum. But yes, I think the direction is encouraging, and now a lot of it is about execution.
The Bank of Canada held its benchmark interest rate steady this week, but flagged the war in Iran and U.S. trade talks as risks that could send the policy rate higher or lower in the coming months. 10 years ago, May 3rd, a wildfire called the Beast ripped through northeastern city of Fort McMurray. It forced 90,000 people out of the region. It also damaged or destroyed 2,500 homes and scorched boreal forest to the tune of 590,000 hectares. It is the most expensive national disaster in Canadian history. Sarah Thapper, a local business owner, says it has changed the city, though, for the better.
We're renting, we're just starting out of life, we're still in our 20s, and we're walking in a booming town hoping to make a lot of money. But I stayed not for the money, I stayed for the community. Because during the wildfire, I'm surprised how the whole town, everybody came through to bring this place back again, and it was done within a very short period of time.
The cause of that devastating fire through Fort McMurray still remains unknown, but it rapidly grew due to unusually dry, hot summer weather and prevailing winds. Montrealers can expect a visible police force around the Bell Centre tonight as the Montreal Canadiens play a Game 6 showdown against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Montreal Police Chief Inspector David Shane says large playoff gatherings are fun for the city, but they also bring security challenges, like safely managing the flow of traffic, as well as an increased risk of altercations or vandalism. Shane says police have installed anti-vehicle barriers around blocked-off streets that officers and Bell Centre security will be present near gatherings to prevent and stop incidents. Montreal has a chance of clinching a spot in the second round of the playoffs with a win tonight. John Kennedy, the Canadian Press.
As the U.S. conflict with Iran hits 60 days, there's new polling that show many of Americans disagree with the attacks.
This morning, a new ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll shows only 19% believe U.S. actions in Iran this year have been successful. And about 61% say that using U.S. military force in Iran was a mistake, while just over 1/3 say it was the right decision.
Hearing from Americans on the ground, Brenda in Texas is retired. She says it's amazed the way the costs have risen for Americans.
It's a struggle every day for everybody. Food is ridiculous. Gas, utilities, everything is just, it's almost to where I feel like everybody's on the brink of homelessness. In America, it should be that way.
Many of them feeling the same way Canadians are feeling. And in entertainment news, The Devil Wears Prada 2 brings Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, and Stanley Tucci back into the roles they first portrayed 20 years ago in the original. Streep says the main cast didn't have to return for this new film, but they wanted to because the story was so good.
We didn't have to. You didn't have to. Emily didn't have to. Stanley didn't have to. I didn't have to. We didn't have to come back if it wasn't a really good script. If there wasn't a really good reason to make this movie at this time and deliver what you say, joy, to deliver that kind of love of human creativity and everything it is demonstrated in fashion and great writing and art and all the things that, Runway's trying to uphold.
In that same cutthroat industry, you would think they'd take the paycheck in threads alone. The Devil Wears Prada 2 arrives in theaters today. That's your news to 6:35. CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking you about the beautiful game, specifically soccer, and what's happening in Vancouver. Do you believe that taxpayers' money should be used to keep the Whitecaps in that city? 71% saying no on Twitter X and 70% saying no on our website. You can vote at either site. Also, iHeartRadio app available for you as well. That's your news to 6:37.
Thank you, Lisa, and good morning. Welcome to the day. Thanks for joining us here on CFAX as we get May the 1st started, sitting at about 9 degrees in Greater Victoria with a few clouds overhead. Eventually, we're going to warm up to about 21 today, and the weekend looks even warmer. Full details to come. Right now to the sports, where the Edmonton Oilers have exited the playoffs in the first round. After a 5-2 loss to the host Anaheim Ducks in Game 6 of the series last night, the Ducks led 3-1 after the first period en route to victory. And Oilers captain Connor McDavid says that slow start cost his team.
Very fast, and we weren't very fast. It was just the opposite. They had a good start. We didn't chase in the game.
The Oilers reached the Stanley Cup final each of the last 2 years before bowing out to the Florida Panthers in both years. Elsewhere in the NHL playoffs, the Montreal Canadiens host the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 6 of their first-round Stanley Cup playoff series tonight. Montreal leads that best-of-7 3-2 with a chance to clinch tonight and win its first playoff series since its run to the Cup final back in 2021. And I should also mention from last night, Quinn Hughes led the way with 2 goals as the Minnesota Wild eliminated the Dallas Stars with a 5-2 win in Game 6 of their series. So lots of those playoff series shaping up. And for the BCHL playoffs, we're just kicking off round 3. And the Nanaimo Clippers, last team standing here on the island, are all the way up to Prince George. That will be the opponent for this third round for Nanaimo as they get into Game 1 of the best-of-7 tonight, and Game 2 going tomorrow as well in Prince George. For basketball playoffs, Toronto Raptors welcoming the Cleveland Cavaliers to town. It's a must-win Game 6 in their first-round NBA playoff series. The Cavs were ahead 3-2. Toronto Blue Jays back in action tonight against Minnesota. For the second of their 4-game series, Toronto lost the opener 7-1 last night. And Vancouver Whitecaps in the news, not for what's going on the field, but for all the business rumors surrounding it. An investor group led by a businessman named Grant Gustafson says it has submitted a bid to Major League Soccer to buy the Whitecaps, but not keep them in Vancouver. No, to relocate the club to Las Vegas. The group has proposed building a privately financed soccer-specific stadium in Las Vegas with no public funding, they say. Details of the site and terms of the offer were not disclosed. The club has been up for sale since 2024, with the ownership citing ongoing challenges tied to stadium control and revenue at the publicly owned BC Place Stadium. That is your CFAX Sports to 6:39. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season and big savings on your heating bill, talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. Designed for comfort, South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. All right, what's happening out there on the roads? Well, no crashes or accidents yet. The volume delays out of the West Shore really light right now. Not much to speak of. A couple of things are going to kick in at 7, though, for traffic around town. Actually, it's both on Cook Street. Cook Street between Bay and Hillside. More paving work, which will cause delays from 7 until 7. But also a little further down Cook Street. So same road, just a little further down between Johnson and Yates. There will be a southbound closure that kicks in at 7 this morning. And that's going to go until 5. For the weather, it is a mainly cloudy day, but it's going to be a warm one with a high of 21 degrees. We do see a little wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait, making it feel colder if you're there. For tonight, lows down to 9 with a bit of breeze blowing. Then it starts to clear up. We'll see some cloud tomorrow, but some sunshine too for our Saturday, May the 2nd. And it's going to be a high of 24. That's even warmer than we thought. Same again on Sunday. Same again on Monday. Just, mostly sunny with temperatures in the mid-20s. And it does look like this pattern continues into next week as well. Temperatures still staying above 20 degrees, and it's mostly sunny and dry right through the next 7 days. Right now, we're waking up to about 10 degrees across Greater Victoria, depending on where you are. Give or take a degree here or there. We are awaiting the first results from North American stock market, so let's just take a boo at how things closed off yesterday as we wait today's results. In Toronto, S&P TSX ended the day yesterday up 645 to 33,964. The Dow with the big gain up 790 to 49,652. The Canadian dollar at 73.8 cents US, and the barrel of oil still above $100 US a barrel, $102.53. Speaking of oil prices, we're going to talk about that coming up.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
Yeah, Lisa, you've been talking in the news about gas prices because we have now for a few days been back above the $2 mark. We're on $2.10, I think is what we're seeing. Is that about right?
What is it? 211, 212.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole /9 thing. Like, let's just round it up.
Yeah.
So I would say 212, essentially at most stations. I find out I'm afraid to look sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you find that?
Yeah.
I avert my eyes as I go by. It's like, you know what? I don't care. If I have to pull in and get gas, I'm going to get gas. I had a nightmare This is not truth. I had a nightmare that it went to 250.
Oh, so you dreamt it?
I had a nightmare.
You were actually dreaming about gas prices.
No, I had a nightmare. There's a different. I don't want to call it a dream.
Okay.
But my subconscious, I guess, I don't know. There was something. These things stick with us, right? It's the day-to-day stuff. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And 250, and then when something seems so real, and you look at the next day, going, "Are you sketchy? Are you going to change again?" So we're holding at 212. That was my nightmare. 250.
Well, we know that it's in the news because back east, it looks like they're starting
up again.
They're seeing prices go up. We're seeing the price of that barrel of oil be above $100 pretty consistently for the past few days. The news out of the Strait of Hormuz and Iran is no news. Things are not really moving there. This stalemate continues. So with all of this swirling around, we're going to reach out to the head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy, Patrick DeHaan. What are we in store for with these gas prices? Because, it wasn't that long ago we got that 10 cent a liter relief from the federal government. They took the
where'd that go?
Well, I mean, it's still there. There's still less taxes, but now the prices have gone back up, so they were before the taxes came off.
Most people guessed that was going to happen.
We had a lot of
us right away saying,
we had all these text messages like, it's going to bounce back up in no time.
I'm going to exhale on this because I don't think there's going to be a deal in it for us, and here we are.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we'll try to get a sense of where gas prices could be going with Gas Buddy in a few moments. I do have a text message here at 71010 saying, Hello, Ryan and Lisa. Any good gas prices anywhere? So what happened to the cheaper gas prices we were promised on April 20th? For 2 days, it was $1.94.4. Then overnight, it jumped back 10 or 11 cents. Back east, it's in the $1.50 range in some places. I am so annoyed that the gas stations here in Greater Victoria can charge the highest price in Canada and get away with it. So that is an annoyed texter, and I get you, texter.
We all feel this. It's almost a how dare you, but it's business, and it's we don't like it. But the reality is, if you want to drive right now and you don't have electric, that's where we're at. It's frustrating. So hopefully he can say something to make us feel better. I think the uncertainty is a big part of the frustration too.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
We all hate the uncertainty of it. It's like, what could happen next? What if the strait doesn't open? What if the U.S. ups the ante? What? Right? And even the Bank of Canada governor is reflecting on that. Tiff Macklin saying that the waters are murky financially. We don't know. Rates could go up or down depending on.
Well,
That's it.
Gas Buddy coming up with more on that. That is what we're doing. And this texter here at 71010 says Petrocan in Souk is $1.99.8.
Really?
So there you go. The Petrocan in Souk still holding steady.
That's not 2025 prices.
That's last week prices.
I'm hopeful.
All right, what's happening in the headlines beyond gas prices, Lisa?
Let's talk about soccer, another trigger point. The government source saying a major funding announcement across the pond in Vancouver today for a Canada Soccer National Training Centre is set to happen. The source didn't disclose how much funding will be announced, but says the centre will be built for high performance that will also serve as a community centre. Back in December, Canada Soccer called on municipalities, provincial and territorial soccer associations, as well as post-secondary institution and other stakeholders to express interest in hosting and partnering on the development of creating a national training center. The source was not authorized to release any more details prior the public announcement. Refugees needing to fill their drug prescriptions or having mental health counseling may now pay out of pocket for some of the services. This due to changes to Canada's interim federal health program. Refugee claimants must now pay $4 for every prescription and 30% of the cost supplemental health products and services. The federal government announced the introduction of co-payments in its budget last year and said they were a necessary cost-saving measure. Dr. Vanessa Reddit with the Women's College Hospital says refugees are already living in poverty and making the co-payments may be impossible for many. And Netflix has reportedly reached a deal to start production on a prequel series for The Crown. The Daily Mail reports the new show will cover the British royals from the death of Queen Victoria in 1901 to the start of the original series. That was when the future Queen Elizabeth gets married in 1947. The final season of The Crown came out in 2023. So if you're a royal watcher, this one's for you. That's your news to 648.
All right, Gas Buddy chat coming up in just a few moments. We'll also check traffic and weather. If you see a problem out there, text us at 71010.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Design Victoria is April 30th to May 7th. Full schedule and ticket prices at designvictoria.ca. Sign up and support the Walk for Alzheimer's, Sunday, May 31st at Fisherman's Wharf. More info at walkforalzheimers.ca. Have an event you want featured on CFAX 1070? Text us at 71010 to be featured. Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX at 70 traffic and weather. It is 6:51 on Friday, May the 1st, and we got a one-sail wait at BC Ferry. 7 o'clock is full. The 8 o'clock is next, and it still does have available vehicle deck space. For the roads, no crashes, accidents, or major volume delays at this moment. All of our major routes are pretty clear right now. If you see a crash or accident, text me at 71010. We have in the weather forecast a really nice-looking day. It is going to be mainly cloudy, but fairly warm with a high of 21 degrees. It will feel a bit cooler by the water, where the wind will be blowing off the Juan de Fuca Strait. Tonight, lows down to 9 degrees, and then we start to clear up a little bit tomorrow. Still a few clouds, but some sunny breaks with a high up to, get this, the mid-20s. And that's the same story for Sunday.
Let's get started.
Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Texter at 71010 says, good morning. The price per liter of gas would be 10 cents higher if not for that temporary stop of the collection of the federal excise tax on fuel. Yeah, I guess, as we're griping about our $2.11, $2.12, whatever it is around Victoria right now, it could be worse. We're going to talk gas prices right now. Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddies, joining us. We've been talking to him a lot recently, trying to figure out what's going on. Patrick, great to chat with you. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back again.
Now, we've been at this 210-ish, 211-ish in Victoria for a bit now. We're all grumbling about it because we're all cheering when the federal excise tax came off and we all dropped below $2 a barrel here in Victoria finally. But now we're right back up again. And then in the other parts of the country back east, I feel like there's a lot of news stories out right now because the gas prices elsewhere are also starting to creep up. What's going on in the country right now?
Yeah, well, most of us seeing a little bit of a jump here over the last week or so. That relates to a jump in the price of oil after U.S. President Trump signaled to his administration that there might be an extended blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. And so oil prices moving up across most of Canada. Gas prices moving up across most of Canada. But localized jumps having even more of an impact here, looking at the biggest movers provincially in the last week. Manitoba up 20 cents a liter, Alberta 19, Ontario 17, Saskatchewan 17, PEI 15, BC down there at about 13 cents. So it's actually in the bottom half of the list. Areas of the prairies are seeing prices skyrocket after refining issues down in the Great Lakes have impacted prices. Now, we've often talked about refining issues on the West Coast, including BC. It's not your turn this time. It is the Great Lakes and the prairies now seeing refining issues causing gas prices, at least in some instances, to have jumped 30 cents a liter in Canada, and down south the border in the States, they've gone up over $1 a gallon in the last 48 hours in some states.
So in this case, with all those headlines coming out of the East right now, a lot of that is refinery problems, not necessarily all because of the Iran war and all the rest of it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a heavy dose of price surges happening, of that huge jump in areas of the prairies. Some areas seeing a 30-cent a liter jump. Just about the majority of that, probably 25 cents of that 30-cent a liter jump that we're seeing is related to those refining issues. So that may unwind in the weeks ahead. It's not going to be like a real big drop, but you rarely see prices in Alberta at 180. Everyone else kind of is well ahead, but that's where it is today. There may be a little bit of relief for the prairies in the weeks ahead, depending on how those refinery problems shake out. The other worry, though, is that the price of oil continues to be elevated. It's down slightly this morning. That's the good news. We're at about $102 a barrel for West Texas Intermediate. Brent is at about $109. But all in all, the longer the strait remains closed, the more oil will continue going up. So we may be getting a break today, but, there's been no long-term improvement yet. Prognosis of the strait reopening still rather dim.
I think maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think one silver lining for us here listening on Vancouver Island is if you're seeing those headlines about oil prices back east going up, it's it's an issue that's not affecting us. We should not necessarily expect the prices to jump like they have in places like Ontario because they're having a refinery issue that we're not having. It still means they could jump, but at least not because of that reason, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and this goes back to there's a lot of different things that can drive oil prices, right? It's not just refining issues. It's not just oil. There can be a lot of different things, and those impacts can hit prices all at the same time. I mean, we saw the federal, gas tax holiday of 10 cents a liter. It caused prices to go down very quickly. Monday, 10 cent a liter drops, and then prices went right back up because the price of oil shot back up. So, there's a lot of different issues that can impact oil prices either one by one or all at a time. So just keep that in mind, the next time we see prices moving, there's a lot of different levers moving in the background.
And with that federal excise gas tax relief, how's that playing out? Is that, because, it feels good for the first moment when you notice it, but then all of a sudden all of these other moves happen and you kind of lose a sense of it. But I guess, it would be worse if we didn't have that tax cut.
Well, exactly right. We'd be 10 cents a liter higher. Yeah. And it almost doesn't feel like anything happened now, right? So it's going to be a gut punch at the end of the summer after Labor Day when that excise tax hits again. Hopefully prices are lower then, but it doesn't feel like we got much relief because oil prices kind of surged as the excise tax holiday kicked in. So, it's going to be a bit of a sucker punch here later this summer when the tax hits again, and it's going to be like, well, here we go. So, tax holidays are good, though they don't feel like we're saving the 10 cents a liter. We still are.
I've got one real quick question for you that came from a listener as we've been talking at our 71010 text line, just sort of expressing annoyance that the gas stations here in the Greater Victoria area can charge the highest prices in Canada. But I guess Vancouver Island has this extra issue where you got to get the gas here on an island. So do we pay more because of that?
Well, certainly. I mean, the cost of transportation is one of the reasons, that gas prices may be higher. You put that on steroids. Look at some places in Alaska where the fuel has to literally be flown in. Their prices are super high. So and because it has to be flown in, it's extremely expensive. So absolutely, where there is more transit cost and expense, there's generally going to be a higher price, and there's also likely to be less competition in those areas as well.
Well, Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy, thank you so much, as always, for checking in with us and letting us know what to expect out of this. We appreciate the chat, and we'll do it again soon.
Thanks for having me.
But yeah, the big takeaway there, I think maybe a little silver lining, is that the big spikes you're seeing in the east, and whenever anything happens near Toronto, the whole country has to hear about it in the news. So you might be hearing about this, but it's an unconnected issue there, at least, with this refinery thing causing their huge spike. Not necessarily something that we'll see carry on to our coast, although who knows, other things could happen, but not that particular thing. That's my big takeaway. 7 o'clock news is next.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7 o'clock on this Friday, May the 1st. It is going to be somewhat overcast, but warm with a high of 21 degrees. Full forecast to come. Right now, the news begins. And here is Lisa Best.
Thank you. Good morning. The Victoria Curling Club surpassing that fundraising goal for new upgrades and a new ice plant. The club announced that it has raised more than $75,000. It also received a matching donation of $75,000 from local couple Jason and Jean, Gordon, the milestone triggering that $175,000 promissory grant from the City of Victoria, which was contingent on the club first meeting that fundraising target. The curling club has been active for about 7 decades. It says the new ice plan is essential to maintaining good ice conditions, and the money will also support programs and continue as a community hub. It's used for many things beyond just curling. We're going to hear more on this with the Mayor of Victoria, Marin Alto. She'll be on for a brief interview at 7:40 to talk more about helping the curling club along on Quadra Street and making sure it continues to be vital in our community. Speaking of vital communities, this is the 10th anniversary of the day a wildfire started that ended up ripping through Fort McMurray, Alberta. Some on the ground reflecting what's changed in the past decade. That fire that ripped through town on May 3rd forced 90,000 people out of the region, damaged or leveled 2,500 homes and businesses, and scorched more than 590,000 hectares of boreal forest. It remains the most expensive natural disaster in Canadian history. A local business owner, Rob Rice, says it did change the city forever.
When you go through things like that, I think it's either you let it consume you or you let it make you better. And I think it's made us better. It really has. I think they made the community better. It's made us better. And you become a stronger person because of it.
The cause of the fire, which was nicknamed the Beast, remains unknown, but it rapidly grew due to the unusual dry, hot summer and winds pushing into town. Greater Vancouver Crime Stoppers say a man from Vancouver Island is wanted for breach of court-ordered conditions. This after scamming over a dozen people in the area. The not-for-profit says the man pleaded guilty last year to defrauding 14 people, mostly women, throughout Greater Victoria. It says he used online dating platforms to identify and contact the victims, ultimately stealing more than $90,000 from them. The Greater Vancouver Crime Stoppers is appealing for people who have information about his whereabouts to contact police. So if you know anything, you know what to do. A BC activist group applauding a move by the province to ban the breeding and future ownership of exotic cats. The Ministry of Water, Land and Resource Stewardship says exotic cats are skilled hunters, and if they escape you, they can kill native wildlife, disturb vegetation, nesting areas, and other critical wildlife spaces. Sarah Dubois is with the province's SPCA. She says they welcome the new rules, as it's almost impossible for exotic cats to express their natural wild behavior while they live in captivity. The government says the current exotic cat owners must apply for a free permits, grandfather clause basically, for their animals. That has to happen within the next year. BC Parks Minister says lots of flack about a sign, and they say the opposition is cooking up conspiracy theories. A Conservative leadership candidate questioned a new park sign that doesn't include the word provincial. Tamara Davidson responded to the situation in question period yesterday.
There is absolutely no initiative to remove provincial from park names or signs. The Cypress Park sign was replaced because it was over 50 years old and was rotting through. The new sign includes a BC Parks logo to make clear that the park is provincial.
Many older park signs across the province don't include the word provincial, either including the world-famous Mount Robson Provincial Park doesn't have it either. And a mystery surrounding a missing Academy Award statuette has now been solved.
You know that Oscars are hard to get, but as it turns out, they're hard to hold on to as well. Pasha Talankin's Academy Award for this year's documentary, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, was flagged by security at JFK Airport in New York earlier this week, who said the gold statue could be used as a weapon. TSA instead put the statue in the belly of a Lufthansa jet where it disappeared for 2 days before being found this morning by airline officials.
Yeah, don't check your awards. That's your news to 7:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking if taxpayers' money should be used to keep the Whitecaps in Vancouver because there's already a bidder who wants to take it to Vegas. 77% say no on our website, and just over 70% saying no on Twitter X as well. You can vote at CFAX1070.com with the iHeartRadio app and Twitter X too. I'm Lisa Best. Your news time is 7:07.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning. Welcome to May the 1st. It is a mix of sun and cloud today, maybe more on the cloud side at times with a little wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait, but otherwise it's a high of 21 degrees today. So a nice warm summery day just like we've been seeing, and we'll give you the full forecast in just a moment. Also, we'll play another clip of a famous TV mom for you to identify. It's part of our Mother's Day brunch contest from the Steamship Bar and Grill. That's coming up in a few minutes, too. If you missed it earlier, we're going to do another one. But first, let's get to the sports, where the Edmonton Oilers have exited the playoffs in the first round. They fell 5-2 to the Anaheim Ducks last night. In game number 6, Edmonton did reach the Stanley Cup final in each of the last 2 years. And after an up-and-down regular season, Oilers captain Connor McDavid was hoping his team would get another chance in the playoffs.
That was tough. We were an average team all year. An average team with high expectations, you're going to be disappointed.
Now, with the win, though, for the Ducks, it's their first playoff series win since 2017, which, by the way, happened to be against the Edmonton Oilers in the second round of that year. Elsewhere in the playoffs, another team said goodbye to this year's playoff season. We saw Quinn Hughes lead the way with 2 goals as the Minnesota Wild eliminated the Dallas Stars with a 5-2 win in their Game 6. And also the Montreal Canadiens will play tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 6. For Montreal, they lead the series 3-2, and they could clinch it tonight with a win. And the Habs went ahead in the series, of course, thanks to that 3-2 win in Tampa back on Wednesday. In the BCHL, the playoffs for the Nanaimo Clippers now moving on to round 3. Off the island. They've defeated all the island opponents, and now they are going to be taking on Prince George for game number 1, which is coming up tonight, and game 2 will be in Prince George as well tomorrow. Toronto Raptors welcome the Cleveland Cavaliers to town for a must-win game 6 in the NBA playoff series that features the Cavs ahead 3-2 in the best of 7. And the Toronto Blue Jays back in action tonight in Minnesota against the Twins for the second of 4 games. Toronto lost the opener 7-1 last night. The Jays will send Patrick Corbin to the mound, and that is your CFAX 1070 Sports to 7:09. Hey, the CFAX Morning Show is brought to you by Thrifty Foods. At Thrifty Foods, happy is delivering smiles and groceries in your neighborhood. You can order online and shop at shop.thriftyfoods.com. Eat happy. On the roads, we're still looking pretty good. No crashes or accidents reported as of yet. And the major highways, whether they be coming from the West Shore or wherever, are all looking very clear and volume-free right now. It's an easygoing kind of Friday for the commute. Unless you're on Cook Street, because there's all kinds of problems there. There's the paving, Cook Street Bay to Hillside, which has been going all week. That is going to be on again now until 7 p.m. And a little further down Cook Street, I've been kind of neglecting to mention this one, but the last few days between Johnson and Yates on Cook Street, that's also a full southbound closure because of the construction going on there. For BC Ferries, 8 o'clock sailing is coming up. Still room left there for vehicles, so vehicle deck space available from Sports Bay to Swanston at 8. And in the weather forecast, gorgeous day. Well, with some clouds. It's overcast, but it's still going to be a very nice temperature. Highs of about 21, so feeling a little summery with a few clouds overhead. Partly cloudy tonight, lows down to 9. Then tomorrow, it's a mix of sun and cloud to start, but clearing into the afternoon with highs of 24. Feeling a little cooler by the water. Highs of 24 again on Sunday. Same again on Monday. And overnight lows over the next few days are going down to about 10 degrees. So fairly stable next few days with some sunshine, a few clouds, and temperatures just getting warmer and warmer. On the markets, getting our first look at the results so far. S&P TSX has started the day down 84 to 33,880. The Dow in New York has started the day up 123 to 49,775. The Nasdaq is up 183 to 25,075. Canadian dollar at 73.7 cents US, which is up just a fraction of a cent from yesterday. And the barrel of oil still above $100 US a barrel at 188 cents, but it's down $4.19 over yesterday.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, here it is, another chance for you to identify today's famous TV mom.
Keep the lettuce separate until 11:30. That way, the lettuce stays moist and the bread stays dry. Huh?
Mom, you fuss over us way too much.
Enjoy it now, because when you're a grown-up, you'll have to take care of yourself.
Actually, I have that thought all the time.
Wow.
Like, wouldn't it be nice to go back in time to when somebody else took care of all this stuff?
Well, and the appreciation you have as an adult too.
Yeah,
you realize you only realize until you're well into adulthood how much your parents loved you or cared for you, hopefully, and did all these little things out of love. And separating the lettuce from your sandwich is one of those things, or putting little treats in your lunch. Right?
Yeah, little notes.
Did you get that? Yeah. It was sweet. The show was good for that. Yeah. I'm throwing people away. The Family Guy, right?
Yeah.
Throw something else in there. Yeah, it's low-hanging fruit. It's Friday. We're not going to make you work hard. If you've entered the contest you're in, we've got your entry, we've got your name, and someone's going to win today. So
text us.
More fun.
Text us 71010 with the name of that character that we just played there. And if you get it correct, we'll put your name into the draw. We will draw one of those correct texts out of the proverbial hat just after 8 o'clock and call you. So that's the last part of the contest you got to do is not only do you have to text in with the correct thing, you got to pick up the phone when I call you just after 8.
So much work, Ryan.
That's the important part. Just saying.
The hoops you make us jump through.
Yep. And what is this all for? Well, of course, it's the $100 gift card to Steamship Bar and Grill in the Victoria Inner Harbor for Mother's Day, because you can book your spot for Mother's Day brunch at the Steamship Bar and Grill right now, even without the gift card. They've got this brunch coming up, serving up a classic faves for a brunch, including complimentary mimosas for moms. That's what is happening. Nice. Not this Sunday, because I know we're doing the contest now, but it's not this Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, we want you to get the
gifts. You've got it in hand.
We need time for you to get the gift card, make the reservation, do all the things, because it's next Sunday that's Mother's Day.
All right.
There you go.
We're there.
7:14. What's happening in the news? Here's Lisa.
Well, since oil is in focus, let's start there. U.S. President approving a pipeline that would deliver more Alberta crude oil south of the border. And Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says she's welcoming his decision. Smith says the new joint venture between Calgary-based Southbow and U.S.-based Bridger would deliver more than 500,000 barrels of Wild Rose Country oil per day to U.S. facilities. Donald Trump signing a presidential permit authorizing the Bridger pipeline expansion, considering a partial revival of the Keystone XL pipeline project. State and federal environmental approvals are required before construction, but that is expected to start next year. The Trump administration also urging other countries to form a coalition now with the U.S. to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz. An international State Department cable sent to U.S. diplomats around the world this week called on them to ask for partner participation by Friday. A new analysis says CEOs are making more money while workers are making less. This comes out pretty much every year around this time just to make us feel good about things. The new study found salaries for chief executives rose 20 times faster last year than pay for workers around the world. The report says when adjusted for inflation, that global worker pay actually declined 12% between 2019 and last year. That's your news to 7:16.
We've been talking a lot about soccer in the news for a lot of reasons. We've got, of course, the FIFA World Cup games coming to North America at a number of host cities, including, of course, Vancouver. And FIFA folks have been in Vancouver for the past couple of days, discussing all kinds of things, including costs, security. We're expecting some more out of that. Yes. And the BC Conservatives have been calling for more details on the accounting for those security costs. We've had the Premier say the province is expecting to get a grant of about $100 million from the feds to kind of help cover this. But is that going to cover it all? How do we know as taxpayers that we're not going to be left on the hook for all of this? That's what the Conservatives are asking. So MLA Macklin McCall, opposition critic for public safety, is going to be joining us in a few moments to talk about that as we talk soccer here on a Friday. We'll also take a break, get our traffic and weather updated. If you see a problem out there, crash, accident, something else untoward on the road, do text me at 71010. We'll get into all of that next. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. By the way, the whole morning show is brought to you by Bluebird Cabs. Download the new Bluebird Cabs app at Bluebird Cabs Ltd. They're proudly local and Canadian owned and run since 1946. So on the roads, I'm going to just go out on a limb and say it's a lot easier than usual. It's typical on a Friday, but volume delays out of the West Shore are fairly negligible compared to a normal morning commute, and our other major routes like the Malahat and the Pat Bay Highway are all looking clear as well. If you see otherwise, text me at 71010, but right now I'd say it's a very easy commute from the major routes into town. Once you're in town, avoid Cook Street because it's paving between Bay and Hillside again. It's going to be even more so next week. So right now it's still flowing, just restricted. Next week it's going to be a full southbound closure on that stretch of Cook between Bay and Hillside as they get further into the project. Also on Cook Street a little further down, a full southbound closure today between Yates and Johnson. Now over to the BC Ferries. No sailing waits. 8 o'clock sailing coming up with room left. And with the weather, it's a mostly cloudy day, but we'll see some sunny breaks. A little wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait today. Highs of 21 degrees, unless you're by the windy coastline. Partly cloudy overnight, lows down to 9. We'll have a mix of sun and cloud to start tomorrow, but it will be clearing up as the day goes on. Highs hit 24 degrees tomorrow and Sunday, so we're getting some downright summery conditions. Even more so. We already have that, I guess, but even more so come Saturday and Sunday. And the long-range forecast into next week looks pretty much the same as well. We're just kind of into this weather for a good stretch. Right now, temperatures around the region at the Victoria International Airport, it's still about 10 degrees. In Colwood by the water, it's also 10 degrees.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Joining us on the line, I believe I've got a member of the legislature and a BC Conservative official opposition critic for public safety, Macklin McCall, joining us. Hello.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Great to talk to you. Thanks so much. We're talking all about soccer, of course. Big buzz about the FIFA games coming to Vancouver, and we've had all the FIFA folks and all of the hoopla going on this week. And security costs are in the news, and you're kind of wondering, along with the BC Conservatives, what are we going to be on the hook for here, and are we hearing the full story from the province? Take us through what's going on with the security costs.
Well, that's the $1 million question. We're not 100% certain. We've been asking quite a bit here with the minister and her staff, asking for briefings, just any kind of plan, any kind of update. I hadn't gotten anything. Just this week, we did a few questions through a question period, wanting to get the minister or the government on record just with any kind of plan. They didn't really indicate anything. I know media here in Victoria has been asking questions. So there's not really any plan. We're 40 days out. We're like 6 weeks away, and it's a little concerning. There doesn't seem to be a plan here that they're stating yet.
They have said they're getting $100 million from the federal government to help offset these costs, which sure sounds like a lot of money. But do you have a sense that that could not be enough?
Well, I'm not. That is helpful, sure, but. If we don't have the actual cost of what it's going to be costing for security, I don't know. Is that the full cost? Is that 10% of the cost? There's not really been a plan here with respect to what's happening with security, and I've heard it said that it's planned originally was between $300 and $600 million. People are worried if it's gone up. There's been no indication where that stands and what the breakdown is. So I think that's still, without knowing what that's covering, if that's even going to cover the security costs. This is a major, major event. I mean, it's comparable to Vancouver 2010. I was an RCMP officer during 2010. I wasn't involved in the planning, but I was involved in the execution of the Olympics, and seeing what happened then and the planning and what was disclosed and what was the public and everyone knew what was happening with that versus now, we're so close to it and we just simply don't have any answers of what's happening.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're saying back during the Olympics in 2010, there was a bit more being shared? So it was a different situation?
Oh, well, absolutely. It was very, very high profile international event, and so is FIFA World Cup. I think it really helps both British Columbia and international audience feel safe that, this is going to be great. We can go to this. We got no concerns. And they certainly, I think, did a good job of that in 2010. It was years of planning to get it. And another thing, too, that I think is one of the other concerns I have with this situation versus 2010 is that, what happened then was the province of BC applied for a federal major event status very early on before it was really planned. And what that does is it gets Ottawa immediately on as a partner. There's, potentially federal resources like the RCMP federally, even the Canadian Forces. They were deployed here part of 2010 to secure Vancouver and Whistler and keep British Columbia safe. All of these federal resources and federal money right off the bat. Well, in this FIFA planning with the province, they never obtained that federal major event status. And we asked questions of this in question period. They didn't answer the question. So have they actually received a full, commitment from Ottawa that's comparable to what Ottawa did, what happened in the Olympics?
Another issue I wanted to bring up, because you've brought this up as well, is to do with the police presence. We're bringing in a lot of RCMP officers because we got to increase the numbers in Vancouver to help with the security. But those officers have to come from somewhere. We're bringing them from elsewhere in Canada, apparently. Other parts of BC will be contributing RCMP officers. Have you heard at all, like, how that's going to work? And, do we have the resources in other communities to draw from?
Well, that's a great question, and while everyone's focusing on Vancouver, you're absolutely right. How does this affect the rest of the province? So every RCMP detachment everywhere in the province is having to provide policing resources to Vancouver to help deal with this event. And that's a bit of an issue because that's the province that would be deploying those police, and it becomes an issue because those resources then leave those detachments all across BC, and that then comes a burden for those municipalities because policing, tourism, wildfires, those are still going to happen this summer, and those resources are now gone. And those municipalities may not even agree with FIFA. They may not have even wanted it to happen, but they're being forced to have to give police resources. And then you got to talk about the costs because those calls are still going to be coming in. So that means that with those vacancies now across BC, where their resources are in Vancouver, with those calls still coming, well, there's going to be overtime calls. There's going to be all this extra cost that's now downloaded onto the municipality that's going to have to pay. So is the province covering that, or is that going to fall on taxpayers on these municipalities all across British Columbia?
Well, raising some questions about the security costs and, the burden on RCMP to police the FIFA World Cup games, which are going to be happening in Vancouver pretty soon. It's only like a month and a half away. This starts up pretty quick, and that's MLA Macklin McCall, BC Conservative critic for Solicitor General and Public Safety, talking to us here as we figure it all out. Thanks so much for joining us and raising the questions, and good luck trying to find some answers.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
All right. Well, we'll keep following that story. And I mean, that's just one of the soccer stories going on in the news right now as the Whitecaps in Vancouver, despite all of the excitement about having the World Cup of Soccer come to this city, Vancouver, that city is struggling to hold on to its own soccer team, the Whitecaps, as we hear more about this bid to move it to Las Vegas. More on that came out yesterday. If you missed it, we're going to tell you more about that in sports. Lisa's also got your news at 7:30, all next.
Developing political story, a big doozy.
Vashi Capellos.
What started as a dull day is anything but
The top newsmakers.
your go-to political debrief. Daily. What is really going on?
The breaking news.
Just moments ago.
And the entertaining analysis and debate to follow.
I don't think you can sugarcoat it. It's an issue.
It's not true, guys. Yeah.
Vashi Capellos.
There is a greater plan here.
Vashi Capellos. Weekdays 9 a.m. to 11.
Bigger picture politically, which
is on CFAX 1070. The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe.
Join us this week to learn about an upcoming event promoting independence and safety in your home, being held Wednesday, April 22nd from 1:30 to 3:30. Guest speakers will be discussing how home safety solutions can help reduce risk, increase confidence, and support daily living. This is an event by the Victoria Seniors Business Network,
providing info on everything you needed to know about real estate. The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe, Saturdays at noon on CFAX 1070. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 7:30 on Friday, May the 1st. It's a beautiful one. Highs getting up to 21 degrees today, but we will see some clouds in the forecast as well. All the details to come, but right now the news begins. And here is Lisa Best.
Thank you and good morning. We had 4 fires spark across Vancouver Island in a 4-day period last weekend with the temperature starting to heat up. BC Wildfire Service crews are reminding you to be prudent with fire safety, especially if you're heading out into the wilderness. Today marks an ominous anniversary. It was 10 years ago on May 1st, a wildfire called the Beast sparked. 2 days after that, on May 3rd, 2016, it ripped through the northeastern Alberta city of Fort McMurray. So this is the 10th anniversary. It forced 90,000 people to evacuate, some having to drive through flames to safety. It damaged or leveled 2,500 homes, scorching nearly 600,000 hectares of boreal forest. It remains the most expensive natural disaster in Canadian history. Local business owner in Fort McMurray, Sarah Thapper, says it has changed the city for the better, but it took a while.
We're renting, we're just starting out of life, we're still in our 20s, and we're walking in a booming town hoping to make a lot of money. But I stayed not for the money, I stayed for the community. Because during the wildfire, I'm surprised how the whole town, everybody came through to bring this place back again, and it was done within a very short period of time.
The cause of that fire remains unknown to this day, but it rapidly grew due to the unusual dry and hot summer and prevailing winds that were pushing the flames towards town. The governor of the Bank of Canada says he's encouraged by the federal government's efforts to insulate the economy against future shocks. Tiff Macklem says he's long wanted Canada to diversify exports away from the U.S. and slash wait times for regulatory approvals. He says those changes aren't going to happen overnight, but they can help make the economy more resilient over time. It's just going to take time.
It's going to take a determined plan and a determined execution and willingness to keep the momentum. But yes, I think the direction is encouraging, and now a lot of it is about execution.
The Bank of Canada held its benchmark interest rate steady earlier this week, but flagged that the war in Iran and U.S. trade talks, or lack of, are risks that could send the policy rate higher or lower in the coming months. Well, more than 2 months after the dispute started, the U.S.-Iran conflict shows little signs of ending. ABC's Jim Ryan says it's affecting Americans' ability to afford the basics.
A new ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll shows Americans by and large agree with Brenda, who lives in Texas.
It's a struggle every day for everybody. Food is ridiculous. Gas, utilities.
The survey of 2,560 adults finds that 23% are falling behind financially, up from 17% in February. Brenda says she's feeling it firsthand.
There's nothing left to even put into savings.
Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Montrealers can expect a visible police presence around the Bell Centre tonight in that city as the Canadiens play a 6-game showdown against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Montreal Police Chief Inspector David Shane says large playoff gatherings are fun for the city, but they also bring security challenges, like safely managing the flow of traffic, as well as an increased risk of altercations or vandalism. Shane says police have installed anti-vehicle barriers around blocked-off streets that officers and Bell Centre security will be present near gatherings to prevent and stop incidents. Montreal has a chance of clinching a spot in the second round of the playoffs with a win tonight. John Kennedy, the Canadian Press.
Meta says it could shut down social media platforms in New Mexico.
Meta is raising the prospect of shutting down social media services in New Mexico in response to a push by state prosecutors for fundamental changes to platforms, including Instagram, to protect the mental health and safety of children. It's illegal gamemanship in the run-up to a bench trial next week on allegations that Meta poses a public nuisance. Meta says it was unfeasible for the company to meet proposed requirements. Prosecutors are seeking a series of changes to social media platforms for child accounts aimed at reining in compulsive use and preventing child sexual exploitation. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
And in music news, crossover country pop star Casey Musgraves released her 6th album today.
Ain't nobody's tool up in my shed. Ain't nobody's boots under my bed.
Smooth Sound, Middle of Nowhere, celebrates her Texas roots with a blend of genres from country, pop, to, of course, a little bit of rock in there, too. An Associated Press review says the album is a celebration of all sounds familiar, new, old, and revived, so pretty much a mashup of everything. There's also collaborations to find out with fellow Texans. Miranda Lambert and Willie Nelson's on it, too, to amplify for songs. Her tour dates includes one Canadian date. You're going to travel for this one. It's August in Toronto. That's your news to 7:35. Here at CFAX 1070 News Poll question. Should taxpayers' money be used to keep the Whitecaps in Vancouver? 77% saying no on our website right now at CFAX1070.com. On Twitter X, just over 70% saying the same. You can also vote on the iHeartRadio app. Lots of choices for you on this Friday morning. That's your news to 7:37.
And by the way, if you've missed that story, we've got it in sports in just a second. What's going on with the Whitecaps and this Vancouver to Las Vegas potential move being floated around?
People not happy.
Yeah, so that full story coming up. But first, I just want to give folks another chance to identify this famous TV mom.
I've been so bored since we moved here. I found myself drinking a glass of wine every day. I know doctors say you should drink a glass and a half, but I just can't drink that much.
I hear your pain, girl.
Who is that? Who's that famous mom? It's our Mother's Day contest. Identify the name of that character at 7-10-10, and we'll put your name into the hat. We'll call one of those correct texters just after the 8 o'clock news, and you will win a gift certificate to Mother's Day brunch at the Steamship Bar and Grill. Regardless of whether you win or not, you can book your Mother's Day brunch spot at the Steamship Bar and Grill now. Mother's Day is not this Sunday, but next Sunday. Heads up.
Good reminder.
It's all coming. Right now, over to the sports. Okay, let's talk about that soccer story. So a lot of talk about the departure, potentially, of the Vancouver Whitecaps. This amid news that an investment group has filed a bid to buy and relocate the team to Las Vegas. The Major League Soccer team says it's struggling to find a buyer that would keep the Whitecaps in Vancouver. They say because of economic challenges surrounding the stadium revenue and access to BC Place Stadium. Of course, that is a taxpayer-funded and owned facility. So BC Jobs Minister Ravi Kahlon, responding to this, says the province itself doesn't know about the bid.
And if they have already made a decision to move the team, I'd rather them just tell us and not have everybody go through the anxiety of trying to figure out how to keep the team.
Kahlon says the province is willing to work with Major League Soccer to find a way to keep the team in Vancouver, but says the team has not approached them about taking over the lease at BC Place. Now over to hockey, where last night the Edmonton Oilers were defeated and knocked out of the playoffs in this first round. They fell 5-2 to the host Anaheim Ducks in game number 6. Edmonton, of course, had reached the Stanley Cup Finals in each of the last 2 years. And after an up-and-down regular season, Oilers forward Leon Draisaitl had hoped his team would find another gear in the playoffs.
Never really found what you need to find this time of year, especially to go all the way. In my opinion, just not good enough.
Draisaitl led the Oilers in playoff points with 3 goals and 7 assists in 6 games. Another team was eliminated last night. Goodbye to the Dallas Stars. Minnesota Wild beat them 5-2 in Game 6 of their series. So Minnesota moves on. Dallas and the Oilers are out. And the Montreal Canadiens will try to be the lone Canadian team still standing. If they can beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 6 of their first-round Stanley Cup playoff series tonight, Montreal will move on because they got this 3-2 lead right now and a chance to clinch tonight. That is your sports to 7:40.
Set the table for the weekend with BC Food and Wine Radio, pointing you to great wine buys, outstanding restaurants, insider stories, and all things connected to our amazing food and wine scene. Listen every week as Anthony Gismondi sits down with top winemakers, star chefs, proprietors, and more from all over BC and around the world. Don't miss BC Food and Wine Radio with Anthony Gismondi, Saturday afternoon at 1, right here on CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Well, on a beautiful Friday, I believe we're getting a bit of a break from traffic. I'm knocking on wood as I say that because we don't have much in the way of volume delays out of the West Shore or any of our major routes into downtown. We do have that paving work on Cook Street again, Beta Hillside, but that's just the same as it's been all week. Do avoid that area if you can because it's a bit of a slowdown. But otherwise, lighter than usual volume delays is sort of the story of the morning so far. BC Ferries, no sailing waits. The weather's nice. It's, a little more overcast today, but still warm. Highs of 21. A little cooler by the windy Juan de Fuca Strait. Partly cloudy tonight, lows down to 9. The weekend gets even warmer. Both days, Saturday, Sunday, looking like temperatures into the mid-20s. Few clouds to start our day tomorrow, but we're going to clear up into the weekend. And our long-range forecast, all the way through most of next week, stays mostly sunny with temperatures mostly above 20 degrees. We're just kind of into this stable set of summer here at the beginning of May. Right now, though, temperatures around the region, it's about, let's see, in downtown Victoria, it's 11 degrees now. We're starting to heat up into the day. In Shawnigan Lake, it is 9 degrees. On the markets, S&P TSX now up just a single point on the day after opening with a loss to 33,962. The Dow's up 279 to 49,931. The Canadian dollar at 73.7 cents US, which is up a little bit from yesterday's close. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. Designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, in the news, we've heard that the Victoria Curling Club has surpassed that $75,000 fundraising goal it needed to reach as a condition of getting the $175,000 grant that the City of Victoria was going to give them for this new ice-making plant. But the grant was contingent on the rest of that fundraising. But yeah, now we've heard that the $75,000 amount they had to finish off has been reached. So does that mean the city gives them the money? Marion Alto, the mayor of Victoria, is joining us to talk exactly about that. Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How could you not be with that weather report? Good Lord.
Oh, man, yeah. Mid-20s for the weekend, including the, by the way, in the city of Victoria, we will have the first day of the Moss Street Market tomorrow, just saying.
That's right. Yes, yeah. It's perfect to start that festival season, the market season. So, yeah, everybody should get down there and see some of the amazing things that are always offered at the Moss Street Market. And
maybe a weird forecast to be talking about an ice-making plant, but hey, that's what we're talking about because the Victoria Curling Club wants you to give them $175,000 to make it happen. Now, does it happen now that they've reached that fundraising goal that they had to hit to kind of make your to make their end of the deal?
Yeah, I think that the council decided that they had to set a threshold in order to gauge sort of the degree of support from community, and clearly that support is there. As I think you noted in one of your earlier broadcasts, not only did they raise to $75,000, but I believe they also have a significant amount of matching funds too,
right,
from community. And so, yes, they've met the threshold, and since council's made that decision will stand. There is, of course, always the possibility of someone bringing that back, but gauging the degree of support and the commentary, and certainly the demonstration of support from community by this fundraising goal being met so quickly, and in fact being exceeded in a way, I suspect that no one will challenge that decision at this point, and that we'll just proceed. It's really quite remarkable to remember, though, that although the 175 from the city and now the 150 plus from community, in addition to the funds that they've raised already, I don't think meets even still their total goal. If I recall correctly, the cost of the ice making machine and machinery was around 650, I think, 650,000, and that didn't include the 200,000 or so for the additional electrical conditions and renos and all that sort of thing. So I'm not sure they've met the entire amount that they need for that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they still have some fundraising to do, and of course that doesn't begin to touch the renovations and improvements that they've been speaking about for some time to the entire facility. So great news, and very excited to see the degree of support from community, and I think the city's position at this point would be that we're happy to be part of that community support.
All right. So that means, like you said, a couple of rubber stamps still have to go on, and still a couple of steps, but it looks like that $175,000 grant can happen. How important do you think this is? And I was talking to the folks at the Victoria Curling Club a little while ago on the show and just asking about how the whole thing works, because they're like a nonprofit. They're not a city entity, although they're on city land that you give them for $1 in rent a year, just to kind of, let them be there. But they're not a city thing. So they're their own thing. However, they're an important kind of public institution. So how important do you think it is for them to be able to keep going with this money?
Yeah, I think that you really hit the nail on the head there in a couple of things, and that did come up during the conversation at council and in the public and community as well. It's not just a curling club. It has emerged in the last couple of years in particular as another venue for a variety of different performances and associations and gatherings and, festival events. It has a really unique relationship with the North Park Neighborhood Association, which is nearby, and as you know, doesn't have a permanent home, and so uses a variety of different community facilities, including that one. So the curling club, it may be a curling club in name, and certainly it is, and that's a primary use, obviously, at different parts of the year, but it has much more capacity and a lot more potential, and I think ensuring that it has enough resources from a variety of different sources to continue to offer that potential to the community more broadly, it's a really important aspect, particularly of that neighborhood, but of the city as a whole.
Marion Alto is the mayor of Victoria. Much appreciated. Thanks for just jumping in here on the show to give us that update. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Have a great day.
Now it's 7:47. Let's get to some more news with Lisa.
Good morning. Officials in Vancouver say they have run tests to see what it will take to host the FIFA World Cup. Police officers seen scattered across Vancouver Convention Centre as about 1,600 delegates gathered ahead of the tournament. Vancouver police say about 800 officers are being brought in from outside the city, including across the water from here in Vancouver Island, to help manage safety in Vancouver, a number not seen since the 2010 Winter Olympics. Iran's 90 million people have been cut off from the global internet for most of this year so far, one of the world's longest and strictest national shutdowns. That's been devastating for an online economy that has for years defied government restrictions and international sanctions. From fashion to fitness to advertising and retail, many have seen their incomes evaporate. Despite the uneasy truce between Iran, the U.S., and Israel, Iran's leaders are refusing to reverse that shutdown, insisting it is a wartime necessity. And one of the rarest whale species is having more calves this year than in some recent seasons. Still, experts say many more young are needed to be born to help stave off the possibility of extinction. This is the North Atlantic right whales that frequent the Maritimes. The total population is estimated at just over 384 animals, but it's been slowly rising after years of decline. The whales give birth in the southeastern U.S. every winter before migrating north to Canadian waters to feed. That is your headline news to 7:49.
Lisa, do you remember earlier this week, we were very excited because the Capital Regional District is going to do this kind of like Google Street View imagery of some of our park trails. So you can do like a street view of some CRD park trails.
Up close and personal with the wilderness?
Yeah. We were going to talk to the CRD folks earlier this week. We kind of had a misconnection.
They were out hiking, weren't they?
Exactly. No. It was my fault, not their fault.
Really?
But we are going to get the CRD on now to talk about this, how they're going to pull it off, how they're going to do it, and how you can check it out. So that's coming up in just a moment after the non-trail related traffic. So what's happening?
It is a trail.
Yeah, the trail for cars.
Sometimes it's gnarly.
Yeah. What's going on out there in traffic? Well, actually, sneak peek. It's actually looking pretty good today, but we'll give you the full forecast for the weather and for the traffic next.
from CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Design Victoria is April 30th to May 7th. Full schedule and ticket prices at designvictoria.ca. Sign up and support the Walk for Alzheimer's, Sunday, May 31st at Fisherman's Wharf. More info at walkforalzheimers.ca. Have an event you want featured on CFAX 1070? Text us at 71010 to be featured. Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. If you got a problem out there, text me at 71010. Morning show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. At Thrifty Foods, Happy is delivering smiles and groceries in your neighborhood. Order online at shop.thriftyfoods.ca. Oh, no. It's .com. Sorry. Got to make sure I get that right. Shop.thriftyfoods.com is the one. And for the traffic and weather, there's no crashes, accidents, or any unusual problems like that so far. Lighter than usual volume delay out of the West Shore. We're seeing that too. We got the paving back on Cook Street between Bay and Hillside. That's the same story as all this week. It's going to get worse next week, by the way. Full southbound closure for that Cook Street stretch from Bay to Hillside as the paving work escalates next week. But today it's just the obstructions. And for the BC Ferries, no sailing waits right now. 8 o'clock sailing is coming up with room left. The weather looks amazing. It's a mainly cloudy day today, but it clears up on the weekend. Today, a high of 21. Tomorrow and Sunday, highs into the mid-20s, getting even warmer. Although for all of that, a little cooler by the Wandafuka Strait, per usual, as we'll see a little bit of breeze blowing off the water.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Not a bad weather forecast, who knows? Maybe go out and enjoy one of the Capital Regional District's hiking trails. Well,
we certainly hope so.
we're gonna talk about that with Nicole Can, Regional Parks Manager of Visitor Experience and Stewardship, because you've got a new thing that you can do. It's like Google Street View, but for trails. Tell me about this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, last year, staff were able to get a 360-degree camera out to capture street view imagery for many of our high visitation parks for the CRD Regional Parks. We've got 14 parking lots and day use areas that people can visit virtually before they visit in person, and over 20 kilometers of trails, as well as all of the 3 main regional trails here on Vancouver Island as well.
Now, that's really cool, but why? Like, what was the main motivation to do this?
That is such a good question, because a lot of people think, well, it's a trail. I know what to expect. And the truth is that we are so lucky to have so many different terrains and ecosystems that we can visit in the South Island that there's a lot of things that you might not expect when you come to a trail. And a study that was undertaken by Trans-Canada Trail in 2022 identified that a lack of information about which trails are accessible is the largest barrier preventing people with disabilities from accessing parks and trails. So we're doing our best to try and address that one step at a time.
And this isn't just, and again, for people who don't know, because I have a text here saying, can't you already see trails on Google Earth? You can, but you don't get right into that street level view. So maybe explain a bit more about what this looks like and how it's different from just looking at a map of a trail.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This gives visitors a much clearer sense of what to expect sort of at their own eye level when they come to those parking lots, when they come to those trails and day use areas. It doesn't solve the issue of physical barriers that are already present in preventing people from experiencing parks. That's something we're trying to address through our other accessibility guidelines and projects at CRD. But what this does give is it equips people with the information they need to feel prepared and supported.
Yes, I think it can be nice sometimes to know what you're in for, because trails, maybe there's like rocky bits you got to clamber over on some of the harder ones, or maybe there's, something that you couldn't get a wheelchair down if that's something that you're using. There's all those kind of questions that could be answered if you could just go and look directly at it, like from
what's the
from
access
street level,
through the washrooms like?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a lip or a curb, or is it a smooth kind of gravelly access?
Was it expensive to do this? Like, what was it like to actually accomplish this?
We were really lucky. The CRD already had the 360-degree camera. Google processes all of the images themselves and ensures that they remove any personal information. So any faces that were captured as we were out collecting the video were blurred, and it was all done with staff time.
What's it like to do this? I don't know if you had a chance to talk to anybody. Do you just strap the camera onto somebody and they do the hike with the camera hanging off their back, or what does it look like to actually go and capture this?
Yeah, it's in a backpack. It's a pretty great job. We have some auxiliary staff who are out there this year who are going to be collecting additional imagery. We're aiming to add another 3 to 5 parks to the project this year. But really, it's a chance for staff to go out and hike the trails, use their eyes and ears and all of their senses to see what else is going on while capturing the imagery that's going to be helpful to all the visitors who visit.
Sounds like there's too many to list off here, but give me a couple of examples of parks where this is a feature that you can already see now.
I think that we started with the highest visitation parks. So I think most of your listeners are probably familiar with Island View Beach, the parking lot and day use area. You can now see from the Google Street View links there. Elk Beaver Lake, so Beaver Beach, Eagle Beach, the Filter Beds, Hamsterley Beach, the 10-kilometer trail around Elk Beaver Lake, and also out a little bit further west, places like the East Souk, Aylard Farm parking lot, and Woody's Lagoon day use area.
And if you want to find this, is it as simple as going to the CRD website, or what's the best way to go and take a look at these maps and this, eye-level view of those trails?
We've tried to make it as easy as possible so you can find it sort of whatever your preference is. If you prefer to just go to Google Maps and then click on Street View directly from where you are or where you're planning on being, you'll find them directly that way. But we also do have the CRD Regional Parks Accessibility website, which has all of these links and a lot more information if that's something that you need to plan your visit safely and securely.
But if you're familiar with Google Street View, it is just there, I guess. It's already
right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's easy. You don't even have to go anywhere special.
Nope.
Well, Nicole Can, Regional Manager of Visitor Experience and Stewardship with the CRD. Thank you so much for telling us about this feature. You can find it now and more to come, it sounds like. Anything else to add?
Thank you so much. We hope you get out there and enjoy the park safely this weekend.
Nice weekend for it. Well, much appreciated. We'll take a break. We got the 8 o'clock news next with Lisa. And, of course, we will call right after the CFAX 1070 8 o'clock news. Sports, weather, traffic, all of that. We will call our last winner for our Famous Mom contest. Can you identify this famous mom? Here's one of your last chances to text.
Everything on the menu has fish in it.
What about the bread? Does that have much fish in it?
Yes.
Well, I have some Tic Tacs in my purse.
Excellent choice.
Who's that mom? Text us now.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 8 o'clock on Friday, May the 1st. We're going to have a fairly warm day, highs of 21 degrees, but a few clouds overhead. Full forecast to come, but right now let's get into the news. And here is Lisa Best.
Lots of chatter about soccer in many different areas. Across the pond in Vancouver today, the federal government is set to make a major funding announcement for a Canada Soccer National Training Centre.
A government source has told the Canadian press the money will go to plan, design, and pre-construction of the centre. They did not disclose how much funding will be announced, as they were not authorized to release details before the public announcement set for later today in Vancouver. The source says the centre will be built for high performance, but will also serve as a community centre following calls from Canada Soccer in December for stakeholders to express interest in hosting or partnering on the development of a national training centre. Naira Ahmed, The Canadian Press.
The Victoria Curling Club surpassing its fundraising goal for that new ice plant. Money needed. They needed to raise $75,000. They also reached a $75,000 matching donation from a local couple, the milestone triggering that $175,000 promise grant from the City of Victoria, which was contingent on the club meeting its target. The curling club's been in action for about 70 years now on Quadra Street. The new ice plant is essential for maintaining good conditions on the ice, but also supports programs and continues helping the location be a community hub, which it very much is. BC Parks Minister says the opposition is cooking up conspiracy theories. This after a Conservative leadership candidate questioned a new park sign that didn't include the word provincial. Tamara Davidson in question period responding to the situation.
There is absolutely no initiative to remove provincial from park names or signs. The Cypress Park sign was replaced because it was over 50 years old and was rotting through. The new sign includes a BC Parks logo to make clear that the park is provincial.
Many older signs across the province don't include the word provincial either, apparently. In Alberta, a dark anniversary being celebrated. It was this year, 2016, that a wildfire sparked that eventually ripped through Fort McMurray, Alberta. The fire, which hit the town 2 days later on May 3rd, 2016, forced 90,000 people out of the region, damaged or leveled 2,500 homes and businesses, and scorched thousands of hectares of boreal forest. It remains the most expensive natural disaster in Canadian history. Local business owner Rob Rice says it did change the city forever.
When you go through things like that, I think it's either you let it consume you or you let it make you better. And I think it's made us better. You know, it really has. I think they made the community better. It's made us better. And you become a stronger person because of it.
The fire was dubbed the Beast. The cause of it remains unknown, but it rapidly grew due to the unusually dry, hot summer that was underway and winds pushing towards the city. The governor of the Bank of Canada says shocks are increasingly common on the global stage, but that won't stop the central bank from keeping inflation reined in. Bank of Canada holding its policy rate steady earlier this week, but said the outlook is murky due to U.S. trade talks and the war. Tiff Macklem says households can be confident the price hike won't get out of control despite all this uncertainty.
There could be some big shocks. We are in a more shock-prone world. Our commitment is we will be a source of stability. We will bring inflation back to target. It is essential that Canadians remain confident in price stability.
Well, the price of the pumps hasn't moved in Greater Victoria in the past couple of days, still holding around $2.12 a litre for regular. Macklem says he's encouraged by the federal government's efforts to diversify exports and attract new investments to insulate the economy against future shocks. Americans are shocked. The U.S. conflict in Iran hitting 60 days. There's new polling that shows many stateside disagree with the attacks.
This morning, a new ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll shows only 19% believe U.S. actions in Iran this year have been successful. And about 61% say that using U.S. military force in Iran was a mistake, while just over 1/3 say it was the right decision.
This as thousands of Cubans take to the streets today to celebrate May Day. In that island nation, many continue to worry about their day-to-day impacts with the ongoing U.S. blockade and the impacts it's having on their lives as the U.S. president vows that Cuba will give in one way or another. That's your news to 8:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, should taxpayers' money be used to keep the Whitecaps in Vancouver? Over 70% are saying no, both on our website and Twitter X. You can vote CFAX1070.com, the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time is 8:07.
Thanks, Lisa. It is a mix of sun and cloud and 13 degrees right now as we get into this Friday. We're going to be calling our Guess That Famous Mom contest winner in just a moment. If you texted us the correct name of today's mom, stand by your phone because we're going to be calling one of those texters in just a moment. Stand by for that. But right now, let's get to the sports. Let's talk about hockey first off, where the Edmonton Oilers exit the NHL playoffs in the first round with a 5-2 loss to the host Anaheim Ducks in Game 6 of the series last night. The Ducks, they came out strong, led 3-1 after the first period, en route to that victory, and Oilers captain Connor McDavid says a slow start cost his team.
We played very fast, and we weren't very fast. Yeah, it was just the opposite. They had a good start. We didn't chase the game.
The Oilers reached the Stanley Cup final each of the last 2 years before bowing out to the Florida Panthers both years. Elsewhere, we saw the Minnesota Wild also eliminate the Dallas Stars in 6 games with a 5-2 victory. Tonight, it's the Montreal Canadiens in action. They could punch their ticket to the second round with a win. They're hosting the Tampa Bay Lightning with a series that they are leading 3-2. The Canadiens can secure their first playoff series victory since 2021 if they can get this win tonight. Okay, let's talk about the BCHL playoffs because the third round is getting underway for the Nanaimo Clippers, who are now up in Prince George for Game 1 tonight. Game 2 will also be in Prince George tomorrow. Toronto Raptors welcome the Cleveland Cavaliers for a must-win Game 6 in their first-round NBA playoff series tonight. The Cavs are ahead 3-2. And for the local soccer scene in Vancouver, it is still a bit of a panic as a group headed up by businessman Grant Gustafson has come out to say he wants to buy the Vancouver Whitecaps and relocate the Major League Soccer franchise to Las Vegas. The group has proposed building a privately financed soccer-specific stadium in Nevada with no public funding attached. The Whitecaps have been up for sale since 2024. That's your sports to 8:09. All right. We are doing traffic and weather, and it is looking good out there. We have no major delays from the West Shore into Victoria. We've got no major crashes or other problems anywhere. Actually, all of our major routes are looking good. Paving on Cook between Bay and Hillside continuing, causing delays there. And there's also obstructions southbound on Cook Street between Yates and Johnson ongoing. That's been a feature for a bit, and it's going to continue to be so. For the BC Ferries, no sailing waits right now. And for the weather, mainly cloudy today, but we're seeing a bit of sunshine here and there, and it's going to be a high of 21 degrees, feeling a little cooler by the water. Partly cloudy tonight, lows to 9, and then a mix of sun and cloud through the weekend with temperatures getting up to a high of the mid-20s. So yeah, looking good for the weekend. Our long-range forecast continues that way, actually, because right through the next 7 days, it's mostly sunny with a few cloudy periods like today, and temperatures all above 20 degrees right through the next 7 days. To the markets now, where the Toronto S&P TSX down 17 points so far early in the day. Actually, nope, just updated. It's down 38 points now to 33,925. The Dow in New York is up 121 to 49,774. The barrel of crude oil at $101.91 US a barrel, which is down about $3 from yesterday. And the Canadian dollar is up just a titch to 37.7 cents US.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Oh, Lisa, it's time.
I feel strong about this.
It's time. This is great. We are doing this contest where we are getting you to identify a famous TV mom to win a $100 Steamship Bar and Grill gift card for Mother's Day, which is not this Sunday, but next Sunday. You can book your spot for Mother's Day brunch at the Steamship Bar and Grill. And we have a final winner on the line right now, if she can correctly identify today's famous TV mom. Is this Jennifer?
Yes, it's Marge Simpson.
Yeah, you didn't even hear the clip and you got it. Here, let's just play it. I got to play it real quick. This is Marge Simpson.
I take it all back. Always be yourself. You want to be sad, honey? Be sad. We'll write it out with you. And when you get finished feeling sad, we'll still be there. From now on, let me do the smiling for both of us.
Well, that is correct, Jennifer. Marge Simpson, of course. It was an easy one today from The Simpsons, mother of Bart and Lisa and Maggie. Jennifer.
Jennifer, are you smiling?
Oh, my goodness, yes. All the children are looking at me like I'm crazy.
All the children? What do you mean by all the children?
Yeah.
I'm not driving. I'm parked because I'm picking someone up. So, yes. I drive a school bus. And we've been following this contest all week. And I've entered every day this week and waited, hopefully, that you would call. And today you did. I'm so excited.
Are you literally, is it a literal school bus?
Yes. It's a third wave school bus. Yes.
Wow. So you got a bunch of kids there, and have you and the kids have been listening every day?
Yes.
And you pulled to the side of the road to take the phone call.
Yeah. No, I'm parked at one of my passengers just got on. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So how have the kids done? Have they been able to guess any of these?
No, today we knew who it was. I was on my own the 4 days, but today everything.
How many children do you transport on a daily basis?
Today I have 7 in the morning, and then I have 9 in the afternoon.
That is amazing.
Some
That's great.
Go to elementary, some go to middle school.
Well, Jennifer, that's so cool. I love that you and the school bus full of kids have been playing along kind of on the radio every day this week, and I'm really glad that you got pulled out of the hat today. I hope the kids are cheering you on. Are they happy for you?
Oh, yes, they are. You guys happy I won? Yeah. Sorry, I have a little speaker.
Well, say hi to the kids for us.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
Enjoy. The radio guy. Okay, thank you very much.
Jennifer, hold on the line. Don't go anywhere. We got to get your information off the air to get you the prize. You have got our final $100 Steamship Bar and Grill gift card. And thanks to everybody who've texted in and participated. If you didn't win, don't worry. You could still book your spot for Mother's Day brunch at the Steamship Bar and Grill. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday for Mother's Day. Oh, Lisa, that's fantastic. I love that story about the school bus.
I'm happy for her. And I appreciate the job she does, because that's not an easy job to do, driving kids around. Parents have to do it to take them to soccer and hockey, whatnot, but this is her livelihood. So good for her.
Cool.
Congratulations. Enjoy it.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. At Thrifty Foods, Happy's delivering smiles and groceries in your neighborhood. Order online and shop at shop.thriftyfoods.com and eat happy. Over to the headlines. Here's Lisa.
Good morning. Refugees needing to fill drug prescriptions or have mental health counseling must now pay out of pocket for some services due to changes to Canada's interim federal health program. Refugee claimants must now pay $4 for every prescription and 30% of the cost of supplemental health products or services. The federal government announcing the introduction of co-payments in the budget last year. They say it's a necessary cost-saving measure. The war in Iran has hit day 60. The 1973 War Powers Resolution says U.S. forces must be removed from conflict by that deadline if Congress hasn't authorized the war. Secretary of War in the U.S., Pete Hegseth, argues to senators that the ceasefire that began last month pushed that deadline forward. And Netflix reportedly reaching a deal to start production on a prequel series of The Crown. The Daily Mail reports the new show will cover the British royals from the death of Queen Victoria in 1901 to start the series, and ends with the future Queen Elizabeth getting married in 1947. The final series, The Crown, came out in 2023. That is your headline news to 8:16. I will give you one more. A government source says a major funding announcement for Canada Soccer National Training Centre will be happening today across the pond in Vancouver. With everything going on in the Whitecaps, we will be riveted and bring you the latest information as it becomes available. The source did not disclose how much funding will be announced, but it says the centre will be built for high performance and also serve as a community centre. In December, Canada Soccer called on municipalities, provincial and territorial soccer associations, as well as post-secondary institutions and other stakeholders to express their interest in hosting or partnering on the development of this national training centre. The source was not authorized to release details before the public announcement. This, as we know, an investor group led by 30-year-old businessman Grant Gustafson said it had submitted a bid to the Major League Soccer to buy the Vancouver Whitecaps, possibly relocate the club to Las Vegas. That's where he's building a mega complex. The group has proposed building that private financed soccer stadium in Vegas with no public funding. Details of the site and the offer not disclosed as of yet. That's your news to 8:17.
Sorry to leave you hanging there. I was just talking to our winner.
Yeah. Well, she's got to get the kids off and on the bus, too. So
Exactly. She was busy.
Too funny.
Oh, so fun. Thanks again to everybody who
Thanks to Jennifer and the kids.
played along, guessing famous moms.
Yeah, we had a lot of people interested. So, these kind of contests make a dent, and we try to get the prizes in place for you. Because to take your mom out for brunch at a place like that and have $100 to spend, that's pretty special.
Hey, it's May, and that means a lot of things, including Motorcycle Safety Month, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
Wear your gloves. Please wear gloves.
So we have a motorcycle police officer, joining us in the studio in just a second to talk about the month of May being Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month, about an event coming up where you can learn more, and just generally about, staying
Safety on the road
for both motorcyclists and, just regular car drivers who are sharing the road with bikes. All of those things to come in just a moment after traffic and weather.
Thinking about home renos, but the cost is too high? Think again. Explore affordable DIY options from ProTech Exterior Products at beahomepro.com.
CFAX traffic and weather. It is 8:21, and I'll tell you, it's looking pretty clear out there. A very light volume delay, comparatively speaking, on our major routes like the West Shore commute. It's typical on a Friday, I guess. So maybe not a big surprise, but yeah, it's easy going out there. No crashes or accidents, no sailing waits at BC Ferries. And for the weather, that's looking good too, with just a few clouds today. Highs up to 21 degrees and even warmer on the weekend. Right now, 13 at the Victoria International Airport.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Well, I think listeners at this point are very well aware that, Lisa, you are a motorcycle rider / enthusiast / safety instructor / just motorcycle person.
There's a lot of slashes in there,
There's
but
a
yes,
lot of
I
motorcycles.
Do that. Yeah, on two wheels, it's lots of fun.
So it's a big deal for you that May, which is now, we're here in May 1st,
True.
May is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month.
It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. So we brought a Top Gun in for us.
Top motorcycle safety
That's
expert.
right. Well, he's kind of going to the well for this. This is Constable Richard Burdett. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Ryan.
Great to have you here from Saanich Police.
Absolutely, yeah.
Where you ride a motorcycle?
Absolutely. I'm a motorcycle instructor and a motor officer.
Gotcha. Like instructor for other officers, or how does that work?
For other officers.
Yes.
Cool.
And for the Vancouver Island Safety Council as well. So how long have you been on two wheels in your career?
So as a motor officer, I've been riding police motorcycle for about now 28 years. I started my career in 1998 in Switzerland. That's where I'm from. I worked over there as a police officer for about 10 years before moving to Canada and joining Saanich.
Yeah, so you've seen a lot on the road over the years.
A lot, yes.
With this being Safety Month and ICBC saying that nearly half of the collisions in a 4-year period were caused by inexperience or lack of skill for riders, what do you see as the common thread there? What are the common things that people are doing wrong on motorcycles?
What I've seen as a collision investigator is it's often riders that are riding above their skills. The bike is fine. There are never any issues with the motorcycle. It's just riders that are running out of their skills. So pretty much is something happened and their reaction is not appropriate because they don't have the skills to negotiate a hazard like this.
Why do we get that wrong, though? Because I know in motorcycling, it's all about, I don't know, it's the cool quotient, like we like to say, especially when we're starting out. So is that part of the mystique, and is that where people start to get it wrong? They get a little bit too much bravado?
Yeah, and one of the common threats that I've noted is, and we're all guilty of it. Sometimes I'm guilty of it. I recognize that is we're not looking far enough when we ride. We're not looking for any escape or anything like that. I mean, it should be the same thing when we drive a car. We should be able to, when we are on the road, being able to think about any type of hazard that can arise in front of us and have a plan. And what I found is a lot of riders that are inexperienced, riding fast or riding at the speed on the road it's easy. It's very easy. The bike will stand up by itself when it's past 20 kilometers per hour. So basically you just have to steer and brake. The challenge is when something happened and now you have to do an emergency braking, for example, because you want to avoid something, it's going back to the slow speed skills. So the steering is different, your balance is different, and you really have to have a plan. And that's where we see inexperienced riders that are confronted to a hazard, let's say a vehicle turning left in front of them. They don't necessarily have the time to stop, but they have the time to slow down enough to avoid the collision. But because they're target fixated, they will look at the hazard rather than looking at an escape route. They will collide or dump the bike. And that's what we see the most.
What advice do you have for drivers on the other side, the people on four wheels? Yes.
Yeah. For drivers, I would say just now be aware that with the nice day, you're going to see more and more motorcycles on the road. being from Europe, we are very used to motorcycles all year long on the road. It seems that over there, drivers are a little bit more aware. What I found here is the lack of awareness that we are sharing the road with other users, specifically motorcycles. And there is something with motorcycles is they're small. Even a big bike is still small to compare with a car or a truck. They actually can be invisible to a driver. Really make sure that you're looking for a motorcycle. Just think about motorcycle. They can be invisible for multiple reasons. One that happened the most is they kind of blend with the traffic that is behind them, and they become totally invisible. So if you think that you saw a motorcycle, just look twice and make sure that this is free. The other issue that we have with motorists is, again, because it's really hard to see a motorcycle, given their size, it's really difficult to estimate how far they are and how fast they're going. So people think they have the time, they decide to make a left turn or to leave a stop, and unfortunately the motorcycle is closer than what they thought. So this is what we see.
And if you want to find out more about how to be safe on a motorcycle, you've got an event coming up for people to check out, right?
Yes. So tomorrow we will have a motorcycle skill event that is mainly organized by BC Highway Patrol and CRD URSU. It is in collaboration with West Shore CMP, Vic PD, and Saanich Police, and with the support of ICBC.
So everybody's going to be there.
So everybody's going to be there. You're going to have a lot of police instructors and motor officers that are going to be more than happy to give some tips and advice to riders. This event is free. You don't have to have skills. It's not a competition. It is really for people to have a chance to go through something that is very similar to a police course. This is what we do with our motor officers when they take the motorcycle course. We really work on slow speed and all the fundamentals of riding like you're learning a bike. Because if you can master that, you will be able to be safe at any speeds.
So West Shore Town Centre in Langford from 9 till 3 tomorrow, and you can just show up?
You just show up, and you just sign a waiver with ICBC and just have fun. It is really an opportunity to ride and test your bike. So do stuff that you don't normally do. And riding a motorcycle, it's a partial skills. If you don't practice, if you don't do the basic stuff, you're losing it. And usually we see that at the end of the season, the riding season, everybody seems to be very dialed in. Like they're like, it's amazing. Winter break, they take their bikes, and the first ride is like, ooh, wasn't that great?
What am I doing again? What's happening here?
That turn wasn't really great. So
good chance to brush up.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, what a great way to kick off the month of May, which is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. Again, it's the West Shore Town Centre in Langford, 9 till, what did I say, 9 till 3?
9 till 3.
Tomorrow, if you wanted to show up and brush up on your motorcycle skills. And we're talking to Saanich Police Constable Richard Burdett. Real quick, just because you're a Saanich Police motorcycle officer, right? What's the advantage? Like, why being a police motorcycle officer versus just having a cruiser? What does the bike do for you as a police officer? Like, what's the purpose of having that?
The purpose of it is, one of the purposes, and people don't like it, but it's for enforcement. It allows us to be very mobile through traffic, to see more. We can see inside cars. People don't necessarily see us, and,
which I guess is an advantage.
It is an advantage. Yeah, we can see cell phone being used when they shouldn't. We see things that people will not do when they see a cruiser, and the other thing, it allows us to respond really quickly to an incident, because we are so maneuverable that we can go through traffic very easily. The amount of traffic is increasing non-stop, so
you kind of get around it.
Yes,
but just no lane splitting. Please.
No lane speeding. No.
I know it's a pet peeve of yours, Lisa. Anyways,
it's also illegal.
There's that too. Well, Constable Burdett, great to meet you. Thanks so much. Good luck with the event tomorrow, and I'm glad you could join us today.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you
weather.
very much.
Thank you.
From from CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Design Victoria is April 30th to May 7th. Full schedule and ticket prices at designvictoria.ca. Sign up and support the Walk for Alzheimer's, Sunday, May 31st at Fisherman's Wharf. More info at walkforalzheimers.ca. Have an event you want featured on CFAX 1070? Text us at 71010 to be featured.
Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria,
An iHeartRadio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 8:33 on Friday, May the 1st. A little late for the news. Let's get right to it. And here is Lisa Best.
Greater Vancouver Crime Stoppers say a man from Vancouver Island is wanted for breach of court order conditions. This after scamming over a dozen people in the area. The not-for-profit says the suspect pleaded guilty in 2025 to defrauding a total of 14 people, mostly women, throughout Greater Victoria. It says the man used online dating platforms to identify and contact victims, ultimately stealing more than $90,000. The Greater Vancouver Crime Stoppers is appealing for people who have information about the suspect's whereabouts. If you know anything, contact police. A BC animal activist group is applauding a move by the province to ban the breeding and future ownership of exotic cats. The Ministry of Water, Land and Resource Stewardship says these exotic animals are skilled hunters, and if they escape you, they can kill native wildlife, disturb vegetation, nesting areas, and other critical wildlife spaces. Sarah Dubois with the provincial SPCA, she says they welcome these new rules as it's almost impossible for exotic cats to express their natural wild behavior tendencies while in captivity. The government says current exotic cat owners can be grandfathered in, but they must apply for a free permit for their animals before next May. To the war in Iran now, which is marking 60 days. Iran providing a revised proposal, but is it enough to bring everyone back to the bargaining table? Here's ABC's Tom Sufi Barrage with details.
We don't know what's in the proposal. It was passed to the Pakistanis as the mediators. I think that's normal. They're not negotiating in public here. And it is a positive sign. It confirms that there are low-level talks between the US and Iran via the mediators. But I think we're still at a stage where this is talks about talks. These low-level officials trying to work out each other's red lines, seeing if the red lines align enough for there to be formal higher level talks that would actually be therefore pushing for a deal.
Oil and gas prices continue to spike as the Strait of Hormuz stalemate drags on. Crude topped $126 US a barrel last night. That's the highest point since the war started. And we're noting that U.S. crude oil exports hit record highs last week again. Kepler lead oil analyst Matt Smith explains why.
The longer that the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, the longer that we are missing massive amounts of oil and products from the country. And so because of that, we should only expect prices to go higher if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed.
A mystery surrounding a missing Academy Awards statuette has been solved.
You know that Oscars are hard to get, but as it turns out, they're hard to hold on to as well. Pasha Talankin's Academy Award for this year's documentary, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, was flagged by security at JFK Airport in New York earlier this week, who said the gold statue could be used as a weapon. TSA instead put the statue in the belly of a Lufthansa jet where it disappeared for 2 days before being found this morning by airline officials.
And The Devil Wears Prada 2 is opening the sequel to the original film 20 years ago. Meryl Streep returns, of course. She says the main cast didn't have to return for this movie. They wanted to because it was good.
We didn't have to. You didn't have to. Emily didn't have to. Stanley didn't have to. I didn't have to. We didn't have to come back if it wasn't a really good script. If it wasn't a really good reason to make this movie at this time and deliver what you say, joy, to deliver that kind of love of human creativity and everything it is demonstrated in fashion and great writing and art and all the things that, Runway's trying to uphold.
I think they were there for the threads in pay. The Devil Wears Prada 2 arrives in theaters today. That's your news, 8:36. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We are asking, should taxpayers' money be used to keep the Whitecaps in Vancouver? 77% saying no. You can vote at CFAX1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time, 8:38.
Oh, thank you, Lisa, and good morning. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to the month of May. May the 1st right now, with temperatures already climbing up to the mid-teens right now, on the way to about 21 as a high. We'll get you the full forecast in a moment. Right now to CFAX 1070 Sports, where the Edmonton Oilers have exited the playoffs in the first round. They fell 5-2 to the Anaheim Ducks in Game 6 last night. Edmonton had reached the Stanley Cup final each of the last couple of years. But after an up-and-down regular season this year, Oilers captain Connor McDavid said he had been hoping to get another step or two into the playoffs, but it wasn't meant to be.
That was tough. We were an average team all year. An average team with high expectations, you're going to be disappointed.
The Ducks won their first playoff series since 2017 with that win last night. And by the way, in 2017, the last time the Ducks won a playoff series, it happened to be against the Edmonton Oilers in the second round of that year. Anyways, the other stuff going on from the playoffs last night, we also saw the Dallas Stars get eliminated, so they are out after the Minnesota Wild defeated them 5-2 in their Game 6, so it's the Wild who will move on. Montreal Canadiens have a chance to move on tonight. They will host the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 6 of their first round series, with Montreal leading 3-2. BCHL playoffs are getting going again because the third round starts tonight for the Nanaimo Clippers. They're in Prince George for Game 1 and 2, which will be tomorrow. But the Nanaimo Clippers, who defeated the Cowichan Capitals earlier in the week to move on, will now face the first game of their third round. We'll also see the Toronto Raptors welcome the Cleveland Cavaliers to town for Game 6 of the NBA playoff series. It's a must-win game for the Raptors. They are down 3-2 in that best of 7. And that's your sports to 8:40. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Text us at 71010 if you see a crash or problem out there, because right now I got nothing. Right now it's looking great. In fact, the commute volume has been lighter than normal, other than the paving work that's continuing to happen on Cook Street between Bay and Hillside. We're actually looking like a fairly decent commute this morning. And no sailing waits at BC Ferries. The weather also looks good, with temperatures climbing up to a high of 21. That's what we can expect today. It'll feel cooler by the Juan de Fuca Strait, where the wind will be blowing again. Same story as the last few days. It's really not that different, other than just maybe a little more overcast today. The weekend, temperatures getting into the mid-20s, 24 degrees or so, the high for Saturday and Sunday, with mostly sunny skies, except for a bit of a cloudy start tomorrow for Saturday, but otherwise fairly sunny. The long-range forecast into next week is looking very much the same as well. Temperatures in the 20s, mostly sunny throughout, and low temperatures overnight right through the next few days, kind of getting down to around about 10 degrees, so fairly consistent there too. On the markets, S&P TSX down 34 points to 33,929. The Dow is up 85 to 49,737. Canadian dollar at 73.7 cents US. That's up a little bit from the close yesterday, up just a fraction of a cent. And the barrel of oil at $101.84 US a barrel. That's down a little over $3 from yesterday's close.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
All right, let's kick off the Friday food vibes with some Friday wine vibes. We've got a recommendation and review from the Dork Uncorked, Rod Phillips, who's joining us now. Hey, Rod, how you doing? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I'm doing pretty well. It's, like I am looking forward to what is going to be in my glass later on today. So this is a great way to get started. Great way to get started.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hit up that recommendation. What would you like us all to try?
Well, it's one of my favorite wines, and I've got vintages going back. And it's going to sound really odd that I've got vintages of a commonly available wine in my little pantry area. And the reason being is it has traditionally been one of my favorite wines, period. But over the years, with all the things that are going on globally, the prices continue to go up. So now it's over the Dork Uncorked, typical range of $20 normally. But right now it's on sale. So it's just under, it's at $20 a bottle. But it continues to be vintage after vintage after vintage, one of my favorite wines, because it brings together all the things that I like the most. So I want something that is really easy to enjoy. I want something that's got good weight. So not really light, not really heavy. I want something that's going to work because typically it's going to go with a meal. So it's got to be versatile. It's got to be able to work with the fats and the sugars and the acids and all that kind of stuff that we're going to have with our dinner. And so you really need something that has a complexity to it as well. And this wine has it. It is, now I've referred to Super Tuscans on the show before. Like we've done our weekend show. A Super Tuscan is a blend of Sangiovese and usually one of the main French grapes. Often it's Cabernet, but in this particular area of Italy, in my sensations, in my estimation, the best blend is Sangiovese and Merlot. And the Ruffino winery has a wine called Il Ducale, which is about 60% Sangiovese, 40% Merlot. Very dark in the glass, a lovely medium body. It's got good fruit to it. So in other words, it's very enjoyable, even if you're not having it with dinner right away. But it's also very versatile with dinner. And like I say, it is on sale. So it's normally $23 and down to 20. So just under that range. And I've been waiting to recommend this wine for probably about 10 months. Really? Waiting for the price to come down to something that is within that range. But anyway, it's called the Ruffino Il Ducale, and it's a blend of Sangiovese and Merlot. You'll find it in your Italian section at $20.
It's Rod's Friday wine review and recommendation. And Rod, we'll talk again this weekend. Saturdays at 5, Sundays at noon is when you listen to Dork Uncorked, where Rod and I do this, but for an hour. Although we're going to talk about beer this time because there's a local brewery called Howl Brewing. They make, in the best possible ways, some of the weirdest beers you'll ever try. And they've got a brand new tasting room that just opened, so it's an excuse for us to connect with Howl Brewing and learn about some of the strange things they concoct. We'll get into...
Just think of Gotland Striker. That's what you got to remember about Gotland Striker. So not only are they hard, ancient beers and somewhat unusual, they're also somewhat hard to pronounce.
They've got good names. All right, Rob, we'll talk
names.
then.
Alrighty, cheers.
By the way, we'll keep our Friday food vibes going with the Vic Food Guys. Dallas joining us in just a moment. But first, to the news. Lisa, what's going on?
Excellent. Thank you very much. U.S. President Donald Trump has approved a pipeline that would deliver more Alberta crude oil south of the border. And Alberta's Premier Danielle Smith is welcoming the decision. Smith says the new joint venture between Calgary-based South Bow and U.S.-based Bridger would deliver more than 500,000 barrels of Alberta oil per day to U.S. facilities. Donald Trump signing that presidential permit authorizing the Bridger pipeline expansion, considered a partial revival of the Keystone XL pipeline project. State and federal environmental approvals are still required before construction, but that's expected to start next year. The Trump administration urging other countries now to form a coalition with the U.S. to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz. An internal State Department cable sent to U.S. diplomats around the world this week has called on them to ask for partner participation by today. And a new analysis says CEOs are making more money while workers are making less. Probably not shocking news to you. The new study found salaries for chief executives, rose 20 times faster than the pay for average workers around the world. The report says when adjusted for inflation, global workers' pay actually declined 12% between 2019 and last year. That's your headline news to 8:48.
We'll get our Vic Food Guys chat. Recommendations for what to be eating this weekend coming up next.
Developing political story, a big doozy.
Vashi Capellos.
What started as a dull day is anything but.
The top newsmakers.
Your go-to political debrief. Daily.
What is really going on?
The breaking news.
Just moments ago.
And the entertaining analysis and debate to follow.
I don't think you can sugarcoat it. It's an issue.
It's not true, guys. Yeah.
Vashi Capellos.
There is a greater plan here.
Vashi Capellos. Weekdays, 9 a.m. to 11.
Bigger picture politically, which
is on CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Give us a text at 71010 if you see a problem out there. But right now we're crash-free, but not paving-free on Cook Street between Bay and Hillside. That continues this week, and it'll be going next week as well with a full southbound closure between Hillside and Bay on Cook as of next week. We've also got another Cook Street southbound closure, which is a little further down into town. It's between Johnson and Yates today. But otherwise everything's looking pretty good for the morning commute. BC Ferries, no sailing waits, and the weather, wow. It's going to be a mainly cloudy day with a high of 21, a little cooler by the windy Wantafuka Strait. The weekend, mostly sunny with highs up to the mid-20s.
Eat it. Just eat it. Come on then, let's go.
Friday food vibes.
You ever think about what we put into our mouths?
All the time.
You are cooking
on CFAX 1070.
Well, with that, here is Dallas for the Vic Food Guys. Dallas, how you doing on this Friday?
I'm in a mood to get hungry, I think.
Okay.
I don't normally eat breakfast, but I want to get a little hungry. It is funny when I'm on the line here.
Yeah.
I hear the eat it start, and then it just goes to blank air, and it does this every week. So I'm like, am I going to be on the air? And then you just randomly show up. It's hilarious. No,
But there's that little sizzle sound, Dallas. You hear that sizzling sound?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's your launch, right? Because you got some.
We need that.
You got some sizzling Mexican stuff to tell us about. Ooh. Bring on the salsa. I'm so excited about this event.
This is already exciting.
Yeah, so this is going to be happening tomorrow from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. It's an experience called Experience Agave. So it's a tequila and mezcal festival, and then that's celebrating all the different types of drinks that incorporate agave, which there's quite a lot, right? And it happens to coincide with Cafe Mexico's 40th anniversary.
Oh.
So they're kind of doing this like, it's going to be in Market Square. Again, tomorrow, 6:30 to 9:30. You can get tickets on Eventbrite. They're $81. So when you get your ticket, you get like a little souvenir tasting glass. You get samples from like 20 different agave distilleries. La Tortilla and Katya's Kitchen are going to be there with some food offerings. There's going to be live entertainment.
Okay, you said Katya's. Have you had their keto tacos?
To be honest, since Katya opened up, I went to the Commonwealth Pool location. I've been there. I've had the food truck. Yeah. I've not been to the new location.
Yeah.
So I feel like, my list of places is so long that there's a bunch I need to get reacquainted with.
Of course.
And Katya's is a place that has been on my list for quite a while to get reacquainted with.
And she's
so
usually in the truck too.
To try.
Yeah, you get to talk to her, but it's instead of the taco, they use cheese. Right? They fry. They fry the cheese and they put the pulled pork inside it. It's phenomenal.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, you have to try it now. I
did not know that. I'll have to race to get to that one. That sounds awesome.
You said that was the keto taco?
Keto taco. Okay. I think that's what she calls it.
Well,
phenomenal.
Dallas, we got Vic Food Vibes with Lisa now. We got her involved.
I'm a foodie too. If it's food, I'll eat it.
That's great.
What else you got?
One thing when I come on these segments is I kind of just blast, and I want some more interaction. So I'm going to try and slow down a little bit.
Okay.
But I got to say too, shout out to Sean Sewell. He's one of the new owners of Cafe Mexico. So they're doing their 40th anniversary as well, and it just sort of all incorporates together. So it's very, very cool tomorrow. For anyone that's into cafes and coffee and all that kind of stuff, there is a cafe that's going to be opening next Wednesday at 1483 Douglas Street. This chain comes to us from Quebec. It's called Cafe Depot. So they've been around for over 30 years. The drinks, I haven't tried them, but they look really, really Instagrammable, if I can use that word.
Yeah, okay.
They're very, very pretty, and they have really cool aesthetics going on, strawberry things, matcha, all sorts of different fruits and all sorts of stuff. They look really cool. So that's going to be opening next Wednesday for anybody who likes to sort of try a different cafe. I know there's a bunch of people that always like to go and try different spots. So
and this is right downtown on Douglas. Is that where they're opening this up?
Yeah, 1483 Douglas. I didn't look exactly where that is on Douglas, but yeah, they have a quick and grab and go lunches available as well. So you can pop in, get some stuff, and carry on your way.
It looks like it's on the block between Pandora and Johnson, but that's just my real rapid live on the radio Googling happening right there. So that Douglas right downtown, new cafe Quebec chain coming. Cafe Depot, you said.
That's right. And then we have a spot opening. It's going to be Victoria's newest bar and games room. This is actually opening next weekend, but they have their spots up for reservations. Friday next week is already reserved out. The Saturday and Sunday are available, last I saw. So what this place is going to be, they're going to have like retro arcade games. They're going to have nostalgic drinks, different cocktails, that kind of stuff, as well as various kinds of throwbacks and just a really cool vibe. It looks like it's going to be really fun. Like they're going to have, it looks like, based on their videos, like the basketball things from like different where you shoot the basketball through the hoop and you get points.
Oh.
But then they'll have arcade machines as well. So it's going to be like this. And they've got the thing that I used to play at Johnny Z's. It looks like with the where you get the paddle in your hand and the puck, and you try and score on the other person.
Oh, the air hockey.
Like that
air
kind of
hockey.
stuff. Yeah. That's it.
I'm
like
so
that
glad
kind of
you
vibe.
brought up Johnny Z's, by the way. You just instantly transported me to my youth and the air hockey table at Johnny Z's. So that's really cool.
Dude, I found one of those coins recently at my place. I still have one of the coins. The
You
Johnny
still
Z
got a
coin.
Johnny Z token. I love that.
Yeah, one of the tokens. Yeah.
So this is, by the way, it's called Glitch. It's a bar, but with classic arcade games, and it's kind of around where the Odeon is on Yates. That seems to be where this is coming in.
Yeah, 100%. And so you'll be able to reserve tables as well there. So yeah, looks really cool. It's going to be opening next week. So if you want to reserve, get your reservations in now before they fill up. And the other thing that I think we should start mentioning, Lisa, you brought this up when I saw you a couple weeks ago, that, farmers markets, there's a plethora of them around the area, and now they're all sort of opening up for the year. So I think on these Friday things, we might start talking about these as they're going on.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, Moss Street starts out. I mean, Moss Street goes on year round, indoors during the winter, but they're outdoors starting tomorrow at Sir James Douglas Elementary. And a lot of people know the Moss Street Market, but tomorrow is the now outside version for the year. So that's starting. And then also the James Bay Market that's happening at 494 Superior Street. That starts tomorrow as well, and that's from 9 to 3 p.m. Do you either of you guys ever go to either of these ones?
Oh, yeah. I'm a frequent attendee at the Moss Street Market, so I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, awesome. And then Ryan, you mentioned last night you were at the Esquimalt Market,
Yes.
which is their Thursday sessions are going on. I was there as well.
Yeah.
I unfortunately did not see you, but Memorial Park in Esquimalt, the Esquimalt Market is happening. Their Mondays markets at Gorge Park will be starting on June 15th, so that hasn't happened yet. But one thing I really like about the Esquimalt Market, is the music, but also it's very food forward.
Yeah.
And everybody knows I want to eat.
And
so.
you're you, so there you go. Dallas from the Vic Food Guys. Keep us posted on farmers markets and have a wonderful weekend.
Absolutely. You too. Thank you.
Well, with that, we're done for the day. Thanks so much for listening. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk again on Monday.